days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Columbus.
Miller's coming in shorthanded. Miller back in, he scores!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Nikishin got that bomb and he scores! Game over! Alexander Nikishin's first overtime game winner!
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Here I am.
Flying out of RDU? You've already got a lot to think about if you're traveling. Let Fast Park and Relax take over the parking part of your trip. Fast Park and Relax is just minutes from the terminal. You simply pull into our easy access lot, park in one of our fully covered, well-lighted parking spaces, and one of our comfortable shuttles will pick you right up, load your luggage, and deliver you to your terminal. No walking, no waiting. That's why we're called Fast Park and Relax. We make airport parking easy. Check out our free parking offer at thefastpark.com.
It's April, and that means Briggs restaurants have gone Greek. Briggs has some incredible lamb specials this month, like the homemade lamb sausage patty stuffed with feta and fresh mint, lamb sausage Benedict, Briggs gyro, and more. This month only at Briggs.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, where they have a timepiece, a luxury timepiece for you. I like to say that your interest in watches, your likes, your taste, it's as unique as you are. Some people, they want history. They want military history like Hamilton. They want watchmaking innovation history like the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, granddaddy of all the dive watches, or the Moon Watch from Omega that's been worn on the moon more than any other watch. Some want something brand new. Some want something innovative. Some want something trendy. The Norcanes, the more modern pre-owned and vintage Rolex. There are so many options when it comes to what you wear on your wrist, what statement you want to make. And lucky for us, the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location, as well as the Omega Boutique, the largest of its kind in the country, and the main showroom at Bailey's, have it all. No matter what you want your luxury timepiece to say, they have the watch for you.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to CarShield.com. That's CarShield.com today.
I'm attorney Brian Richie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. With an upper-level ridge in place, we'll have more very warm temperatures for your Thursday. The warmth continues into Friday and Saturday as well. Ahead of our next cold front that passes Easter Sunday, that'll bring a better chance for showers and storms.
.72-72, 10 seconds to go. And a cut and run through the ball, and who better than this guy? Get it into Boozer, back for Saar, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! With .3, UConn goes in front. Utterly impossible.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly. on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Starting off our coverage from Indianapolis at the Radio Row of the Final Four. The Drive is in Indianapolis thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. And we came all the way to Indianapolis to talk to an in-state coach to start us off. We have Steve Forbes from Wake Forest leading us off here as part of our Big 3 at 3, brought to you by Maynard Service Company. Check them out, Maynard Services, MAYNORSERVICES. Spelling on air is almost as dangerous as doing math on air. Steve Forbes joining us. Thank you very much for your time. Yeah. Impressed by that?
Great
to
be hooked on phonics.
Yeah.
I use
sounded
phonics.
it out.
Yeah.
I sounded it out. Let's talk about your guys this past year.
Yeah.
All year, I've been saying Juke Harris is underrated.
Yeah.
How correct am I as far as how good that guy is?
He's underrated maybe as far as like notoriety nationally probably. But, he's a guy that I think coaches understand in our league is a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he had the biggest jump in scoring from his freshman to sophomore than anybody in the country. And, he put the work in. And he's got great size and a great kid. He's very competitive. And he had to carry a lot of the load. And I'll tell you this, think about it. I always tell guys, it's one thing to be on the scouting report. It's one thing to go to the top of the scouting report. And he got all the attention, and he handled it pretty well.
That's something that you've done very, very well since you've been at Wake Forest, is having the guy at the top of the scouting report that can find a way to continue to score. You've had kind of a succession of them, and Juke grew into that role this year. How do you cultivate so many, like, number ones?
I don't know. I mean, I think they just kind of evolve into it, quite frankly. Going all the way back to Linus Williams, Ty Appleby, I didn't really – I mean, Linus averaged 4 points a game. But, he just – through practice, through the summer, through the fall, you just kind of – you could see the talent, right, with the ball in his hands.
Yep.
Ty Appleby had played a lot. Hunter Salas, I mean, averaged 4 points a game, but had talent.
Yep.
Just played on a team that had a lot of players, and then Juke was behind Hunter and Cam, but he saw how they were Cameron Hilder, so they saw how they worked, and so when it was his time, he just kind of evolved. I think a lot of it too is they got to be really good and they got to play with confidence, and I think if we do a good job of giving our players confidence.
Steve Forbes, Wake Forest head men's basketball coach, joining us here in Indianapolis. We were just talking off air. You're kind of one of like the elder statesmen in the ACC now. With all the turnover, right? When you came into the league, again, we were just talking. There were, like statues were coaching on the other sideline. Guys that are legends. Now there's a lot of changeover. What does that do to a conference?
I mean, it ultimately it was going to happen, right? I mean, I came in the league in 20 during COVID, and there was I think 5 guys in the league over 70, right? So, no, I mean, I think obviously it's 2026. Father Time takes care of some of that, and then I think, you lose a Tony Bennett, you lose a Mike Bray that probably, you thought would probably coach a little bit longer. You lose Coach K, you lose Boeheim, you lose Coach Williams, you lose Larinaga, you lose Hamilton, right? But I think there's been some really good young coaches come in the league, and obviously, look at John Shire, what he's done at Duke, and you look at like Jay Lucas did this year at a Miami. There's more examples, but I think every league eventually goes through it, right? It's just, do you go through that much at one time? And I think like when I go to the coaches meetings now, I need a name tag for these guys. Yeah.
Well, with them being the young guys kind of taking over, some of them are getting their first head coaching jobs at places like Duke or places like Miami, Florida State. Is there something to be said for maybe making some of the mistakes or going through some of the growing pains at a school that doesn't have that spotlight? Because if you make a mistake and you're a coach at one of those programs, it's a different beast.
Look, I'm happy for those guys that got that chance to do it right away, and most guys aren't going to turn that down, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'm a good example of that. Like, I didn't get my first head coaching job until I was 50, and I had to work my way around the bases. Like started in junior college, low major, mid major, high major assistant. And then getting a head job at East Tennessee State. You're not quite in the bright lights, and so you get some trial and error. It puts more pressure on you, but these guys' pedigrees. You look at Jay Lucas has been around a long time. He's been with some really good coaches, and John was right there and played there. Justin Gainey, he's coming back to his alma mater, and he was with Rick Barnes for a long time. I mean, so I get it. You think, well, especially in this day and age, guys, with NIL and who has more experience in dealing with that, a mid-major head coach or a high-major assistant? In my mind, it'd be a high-major assistant.
That's a good point. We're running out of time here, and I have to get the secrets. Michigan in overtime, right? And you had them on
twice.
The ropes, and now they're playing.
I know.
In the Final Four. What's the secret to maybe getting them off their game?
I think you just better beat them down the court before they get their defense set because they're so big. They came out for a tip, and I was like, oh my God! The Axel Lenneberg's at the 3. He was playing a 5 last year at UAB. We played them early, man. Like the second game of the year, and we did have, we had a 7-point lead with 4 to go. We had the ball to win it in regulation. We had the ball to win it in overtime to get it done. I don't know, man.
Was that what you said though? Like, hey, if you get the ball run,
we played fast. Yeah, we had to. I mean, just a hard team to score on in the half court because just positional size. I mean, just seeing, getting a clean look. We had a hard time on Mara. I mean. He might have blocked 7 and probably changed 10, shots. But I would say you got to beat him down the court as fast as you can. And, now they're playing
Arizona.
Yeah, they can do that. I think Arizona's going to win it.
Okay.
That's just Steve
What do you like
Forbes.
about them?
Everything.
Right. That's a good
size,
thing to like.
Strength,
That's a good thing to like.
Play inside out, fast, athletic, a lot of options. I mean, Jaden, what's the kid, the point guard, Bradley's his last name?
Jaden Bradley, yeah.
He's been there since I got a job at Wake. He seems like he's been around forever. The Burries kid, I think he's fabulous. Look, it's going to be a great Final Four. There's a lot of great teams, but I really think they got a great shot to win it.
Steve, we appreciate you for taking the time.
Hey, it's great to see you guys. Glad I came all the way here to see you. All right, boys.
Thank you. Appreciate that. There you go. All right, you got to wait another 10 minutes. Oh.
You're still live.
Oh, you're right. We are still live. I'm thinking we're recording our conversation with Steve Forbes. We're having so much fun there. That shows that we are live from Indianapolis.
Yeah, we are live, Tim. Yeah. Believe it or not.
Actually, this is a good way to preview the rest of the show, which means we've been recording interviews for the last, 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
Which when we're done with those interviews, we just jump out, we sit down, and we chatter. When we're live, we have to make sure you guys know what's going on. So that was the Big 3 at 3, essentially, all with Steve Forbes. Shout out to Maynard Sir. Those conversations from earlier today, a guy who actually had conversations with Boo Corrigan about the NC State opening prior to Justin Gainey getting the job. He'll tell us all about it. It's Bob Richey, the head coach from Furman, coming up next.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. We take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays. you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Live from Indianapolis. Final Four. Thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We are also here in Indianapolis as part sponsored by Warner. That's Warner Ladder, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness, and the official ladder of construction professionals everywhere. Conquer new heights with Warner. Available locally at Associated Scaffolding. And if you're looking in our YouTube live stream, Dennis just brought over one of the official ladders of the NCAA tournament and March Madness. They've innovated it, designed it to be the perfect ladder for cutting down nets, which is pretty darn cool. And they've helped sponsor our trip here to Indianapolis. So shout out to Warner Ladder. Dennis is examining it as if it's like a wild animal, and it is, in fact, just a well put together ladder.
Well, actually, a lot of people that have come through Radio Row have signed it.
Very true.
So that's the reason why I was checking out some of the signatures.
Oh, all right. That's a better explanation. I'm glad you corrected me on that. Continuing our trek around college basketball here at Radio Row, earlier today, the head coach of Furman, Bob Richey, made his way to our booth, and if you recall, the NC State powers that be on the private jet tracking did make a stop out near Furman. The expectation was that they were talking with Bob Richey, and we spoke to him about it. Here's our conversation with the head coach of Furman, Bob Richey, earlier today. We continue here at Radio Row for the Final Four in Indianapolis. The drive in Indianapolis is thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Next up, joining us here at our booth is Bob Richey, the head coach of Furman. Coach, I'm not sure if you're aware. Do you know NC State fans' history with tracking jets and tail numbers and where planes land and how long they stay there?
I was not aware until Saturday night.
Okay, then you know what my question is. There was a jet that spent some time in South Carolina, just off of Furman's campus. What was that jet doing there?
Well, first of all, really happy for Justin. Justin's somebody that I know and have watched his career develop. It's even from the time he was at App State as an assistant when I was an assistant at Furman. And you're always excited in this business when you see somebody get a job that's worked really hard to get it, and he played there, and the pride of that. So first of all, really happy for him. But I did get a chance to visit with Boo and his team, and I thought it was an unbelievable opportunity potentially, and it's part of the business. Sometimes you don't quite get the opportunity, but to be able to be a part of the process and hear about what NC State's trying to do and their commitment to basketball and their commitment to athletics and the vision of what they're trying to do there was very exciting.
What was that vision that they were passing along to you?
Well, I mean, just it's NC State. I mean, it's Valvano, it's national championships. It's ACC, it's Tobacco Road, it's, and for us, I've got an unbelievable job. I've got, we live in Greenville, South Carolina. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And I work at a top 50 liberal arts school in the country. We just spent $40 million on our arena. We just won the league for the second time in 4 years, and we've been in the championship game for the last 5 years. And you know, we're pretty committed to Furman and being able to have our program. And you know, we're very selective in the schools that we talk to, but that one was very, from an academic university standpoint, I thought it really aligned with my personal values, and being in the ACC and being a school that was clearly top third in resources there. It was something that was appealing, and like I said, we love where we are, and we're only going to leave for something that's a no-brainer. And you know, it was you could tell they want to continue the momentum. They want to continue. You know, you look at fan attendance this year. You look at people having a focus on the program from a national spotlight. Like, it was a little bit of an awakening in some you know, for lack of better terms. And I think they're looking to continue that. And you know, it's potentially a really exciting time to be a part of NC State basketball.
We're talking with Bob Richie, Furman head men's basketball coach. You brought up like basketball as a business. What are the conversations like with your players right now that they have options, right? We're seeing guys like Alex Wilkins kind of building their value, and the portal appears to be in his future. If you're having conversations and now you're going to them and having conversations, like, how does that all happen? Because, you know, we brought it up. The tail numbers being tracked is a relatively new phenomenon, right? 20 years ago, you talk to a team, it doesn't end up working out. Maybe nobody hears about it, but now it spreads so quickly, and I'm sure your players have questions.
I think it's all based on transparency, and our players know the jobs that we've turned down. I mean, even the cycle, you know, of just jobs we have listened to but have chosen for various reasons not to do. And I'm very forthright with our team about that. And, you know, we've proven over the 9 years that we've been in Furman our loyalty to Furman, and continue to try to, what I've always said, my 9 years at Furman, we want to make this our next job. And everything that we're doing is to try to make it our next job. And, you know, the build that we've been able to put together at Furman has been tremendous, and that's where our attention is. But look, it's just like me having conversation with players that we could resource them at a certain level. They can potentially go and get resources at a 5-6x level. And so then it comes down to, you know, we don't want money to be the only factor, but it is a factor. And, you know, I think it was any musicians. Green Day had the line in one of their, yeah, it wasn't Green Day, it was Silverchair, actually, the Australian band. Money and everything, but I like to see you live without it. You know, we don't want it. We don't want money to be the deciding factor, but it is a factor, especially when gaps get pretty wide. From there, you've got to look at it and say, okay, as a player, does this help me professionally? Does this help me continue to develop? Does this help me continue to grow? If the answer is yes, then this could be something that you look at. If the answer is no, then it might be worth you staying here. And you're just constantly trying to assess value. And so for us, look, I've had one-on-one conversations with players about their opportunities, about what's going on in my life. I went back all 3 years ago when we were trying to get Austin and Bothwell back, and we talked through all of it as it was going on. They knew what was going on with me. I knew what was going on with them, and we all made a decision to come back together, and then we ended up, you know, winning the league and beating Virginia that year. But it's just transparency, and I know we're losing it quickly, but I still think, you know, there's anybody that doesn't think there's a lot of money in this kind of has their head in the sand, and you've got to be able to evaluate things quickly and well and in a transparent fashion.
Is there a correct amount or a correct way to use the transfer portal as far as, you know, all new guys or certain positions that you want to target? Like, is there a roadmap to the portal, I guess?
I think the one thing that you're seeing is clear is you better know your identity once you're getting in this, because if you don't know, it's so many names and the process goes so fast that if you're just trying to make it a talent acquisition phenomenon, you're going to get yourself in a little bit of a mess. You better know what you're looking at, and you better have a good feel for what you're evaluating and then the things that you feel like are important to your program, because you need to have some built-in filters. If you don't have filters and you're just scanning this thing, I mean, there's going to be over 2,000 in this thing, you know, and if you're just in there looking for the best player, and you can see some situations this year, without naming any teams, where a lot of good players got together and got paid a lot of money, and it just didn't work out. It didn't yield quite the result that everybody thought it was going to, and you probably had a lot of personalities thinking that, hey, I'm going to be in the pilot seat. I'm not going to be in the co-pilot seat. Or I'm not going to be.
And it turns out they're in the back seat.
They're in the back seat, and they're not going to deal with that. And then all of a sudden, you've got locker room situations going on, and I think those are the things, right? Like, I've said this a lot. It's going to be same as ever in this. What I mean by that, the circumstances of winning are changing. The character of winning never changes. And when we all look back on this, the character of winning is still going to be the same. Can you get people to buy into the team? Can you get people to want to be part of something bigger than themselves that lasts longer than them? Can you get people to understand there's one ball out there and get it to fit together and not just think that, hey, how much money do I have and how much money can I throw at these guys and how much talent do we acquire? You still better be able to build team, and I think that's going to be the separator in this.
Same as it ever was. Coach.
Same as ever.
We appreciate you.
Hey.
Once again, that was Bob Richie, the head coach at Furman, who gave us some insight there into the conversations he had with Boo Corrigan and NC State and the vision they were trying to sell, which I thought was pretty interesting stuff there. And, yes, one more shout-out to NC State fans that are unbelievable at tracking private jets as they crisscross the country.
Oh, they're great at it.
Unbelievable. So much so that the year State doesn't have a coach to hire, I think they should absolutely rent out their services to other schools that do, right? To other schools that do have coaches searches. I don't know. Steve Forbes has something going on over my shoulder. I'm not sure. But at Radio Row, you're never sure what's going to happen. Looks like he's having a great time, though. I'll tell you that much. As I said earlier, just a great dude to hang out with. We are expecting another coach to run over here real quickly, one that Carolina fans may want to buckle up for, because it would be the head coach of VCU, the school that upset UNC in the first round after being down 19 in the second half. And Phil Martelli Jr., the head coach of VCU, when he joins us, will be in partnership with Coaches vs. Cancer. Coaches vs. Cancer is a partnership between the American Cancer Society and the National Association of Basketball Coaches, bringing together coaches, players, and fans to support people facing cancer. Since '93, they've raised over $196 million to support the American Cancer Society's work in research, patient support, and advocacy. Get screened. Early detection saves lives. Visit coachesvscancer.org to learn more and support the American Cancer Society. Now, the assistants, so shout out to the Blue Hens. We're just going to jump right in here and really talk about the UNC game, right? We're from the Triangle in North Carolina. What was the key? What was the thing that turned it in that second half?
Well, honestly, one of the keys was playing in Raleigh earlier that year, playing at NC State. You know, the schedule that we played in the non-conference really set us up for that, because it built our resilience, it built our toughness, it built that collective attitude that we needed to go win games like that. And you know, we had a couple games early in the year. Utah State was one where we played neutral with them. We went down 17 in the second half, come back, tie the game. We just built a resilience about us pretty early on, and obviously needed it in that moment.
Was there a more schematic thing looking at it, or was it all just, win one for the Gipper, just stick-to-itiveness?
Yeah, we went to our three smaller guard lineup. We played more of that really down the stretch than we had, again, early in the game. I'm like, all right, we need our bigger guys out there, rebound, do all that. But when we went to those guys, it just brought a little added intensity to us. Like, they just had a little edge to them. And they were able to hold their own, inside. We were rebounding the ball, and then we were able to get out in transition where we're really good.
And then the next game, that the team you played in the next one's still playing here.
Yes.
What's the scouting report on Illinois?
They are really damn good.
Yeah,
like, they are really good. I'm rooting hard for them. I was super impressed, watching them up close. It wasn't fun watching them up close, but we lost our point guard in the first play of the game. That didn't help, with a bad ankle, but. They have a unique thing because they're so big, but they don't lose. Like, people going into the game kept saying to me, like, oh, this is size versus speed. And then we got out there and I was like, they're just as quick as us, right? Like, they have the size, but they're just as quick. And they just have something about them. Like, their IQ and just the way that they can kind of blend together, different lineups, different guys, it's a pretty special thing. I was not surprised. When we walked out, I said, that's a Final Four team. Now, you never know with matchups and luck and all that. But I was looking at them, I'm like, yeah, they're a Final Four level team.
Is that communication becoming more rare in this era where players are crisscrossing teams all the time? Like, that chemistry can't be easy to microwave when you're putting together a roster.
No, it definitely is not. I said it early in the year, we had some defensive woes, And one of the things I said was because we have all these different guys come from different places, and they all speak a different language, right? Like, because at one place it's, you call this action this, and another place. So we would get into games and you have guys like bumping into each other, and people would go like, well, what's going on? I'm like, well, they're learning to communicate with each other, right? Like, think about if you brought all these people from a bunch of different places and said, all right, here's this new language, learn it, and you're trying to do it while the other team's flying around trying to score the ball is not easy. And watching them do it was really impressive.
Obviously, you come from a legendary coaching family. Is there kind of like you don't know what I'm dealing with, Dad? Because obviously, legendary coach, but a different era where the problems we just talked about weren't a thing.
No, it's having him as a resource is incredible. And, we talk a lot about, the current state of the game, and he's been so involved with everything, right? He was involved with Coaches vs. Cancer. He's been involved with the NABC as the president of the board. He's been involved in all the rules committee. He was involved in the original transfer committee, which I can't even remember. That had to be 10, 12, 14 years ago. That started this kind of like, well, where are we going with this, right? The one-time transfers and the multi-transfers and all these things. So he's seen a lot of this stuff evolve. So we constantly are talking about that.
Congratulations on the extension, obviously, and a great season. Are you putting down roots? Is VCU the spot?
It's the spot. We love it there. We actually just got a house. We've been looking for a house for literally a year, and yesterday we just finally got one through. So we're
congrats on that
really,
as well.
Yeah, we're really happy. My family's really happy. Really, really fortunate. I got 3 kids: a 16-year-old son, a 14-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old son. And my wife, and the way that they were embraced by this community in Richmond, I could never, ever repay that. And, we love it there. We're at a great place. You can do special things at VCU, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Doing some math. Born in Delaware, some of those kids, correct?
They were born, we were living in Pennsylvania, but
okay.
They were. Our oldest was born when we were there. My daughter was born while we were there. My oldest was born before we were there. My oldest was born while we were there. My youngest was born right when we left.
We'll claim that middle one then as a blue hen.
That's it.
We appreciate it,
Thanks,
Coach.
Tim. Appreciate you.
Once again, that is Phil Martelli Jr., head coach of VCU, breaking down the Carolina win for them, which obviously was a huge one for their program, and a program-changing game for Carolina as well. A little stick-to-itiveness, also a little guard-heavy lineup gave UNC some trouble in the second half of that one. Interesting piece of information there. The guard-heavy lineup, when we've been talking about how the perimeter for Carolina had been in a issue at times for them all season. The guard-heavy lineup in the second half, big part of that big comeback for VCU. As I look towards our schedule here, coming up next, speaking of Carolina and speaking of the changes that hit that program, we have a player that played for Hubert Davis for 3 seasons before transferring to Vanderbilt for this last one, joining us next. His name is Jalen Washington. He's here for an all-star game, and you'll hear that conversation in a few. But first, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. We flying out to where we are right now, see a lot of just open road and like flat land. I'm like ripping down the road on a motorcycle. Sounds awesome right now. But something you have to make sure as a motorcycle rider, you have to make sure that you are always planning out your routes about where you want to go, especially if you're going to be riding on unfamiliar roads. Talk to other riders who may have experience riding on these roads before, or maybe if you get a chance, drive on them before you take it out there on motorcycle out on some roads or some routes that you may not know. Understand if there are any sort of pitfalls or any things that you can kind of maybe run into when you're out on these streets. That way you can be safe when you're out there on the road. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you contact the insurance company. Here's the thing about Law Tigers and their attorneys. They are part of the motorcycle riding community. They understand what your bike is worth, your gear is worth, but most importantly, they understand what it's like to go through an accident. That's why your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with our conversation with former Tar Heel, current Vanderbilt, or actually, I guess, former Vanderbilt player as well, as he looks to make his transition to the NBA, Jalen Washington. Insight from the former Tar Heel next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, I want you to win, but you got to help yourself. You got to go to caniacsbike.com. And I say that as a motorcycle rider because I want you out there on the roads with me. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
When sleep isn't working, everything feels harder. Your health, your patience, your focus, even your relationships. I'm Megan Giggling with Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Too often, people are told to wait months or even years just to talk to a sleep specialist, but untreated sleep problems don't wait. At Parkway, care begins within weeks with home sleep studies and fast, coordinated support, so people can move forward instead of staying stuck. Better sleep changes everything.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
This spring, visit Atlantic Spas and Billiards and make health and wellness a priority. I'm Victoria Vodnecker, and you need to go see the store with a huge selection of Hot Spring Spas, the nation's #1 selling hot tub. Or try the Tilo saunas, infrared or traditional, the ultimate wellness hack. And Atlantic Spas and Billiards has Raleigh's only full-service game room showroom with both new and vintage pool tables, foosball, shuffleboards, and so much more. Inventory discounts are going on now. Atlantic Spas and Billiards on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh, Monday through Saturday. Visit AtlanticSBNC.com.
Smalls here. What if you could enjoy the flavor of a cocktail without the alcohol? Meet RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category that delivers bold taste and a warming sensation, but with zero alcohol, zero sugar, zero carbs, and zero calories. So you can celebrate with friends, unwind after a long day, and wake up tomorrow feeling great. It's all the ritual of a drink without the regret. Discover RK at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, the spirit without the alcohol.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom! And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck Advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan live. I keep saying live. We've recorded these throughout the entire day, but we are in Indianapolis for the Final Four. The Drive in Indy is all thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House. Call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Joining us now is a NABC All-Star here for the All-Star game, member of the East roster, also a member of Vanderbilt this past year. But many of our listeners will remember him from his time with the Carolina Tar Heels. Jaylen Washington coming off a season for Vandy where he averaged 9, 6, and 1, 56% shooting and 1.3 blocks. Jaylen, we appreciate it. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I do want to quickly just get like a basketball question to you. When we landed at the airport, there were big signs that said in 49 states it's just basketball. This is Indiana. And you are from Indiana, grew up in Indiana guy, but you played basketball in North Carolina, so you understand both. Who takes basketball more seriously, Indiana or North Carolina?
We have Indiana has the 9 out of 10 largest high school gyms in the country, so I would say Indiana. I do believe that Indiana is the hoop state.
Even after experiencing North Carolina?
A lot of people do believe North Carolina is a hoop state, but I'm an Indiana guy through and through.
All right. Well, you're the one that's experienced both, so I guess we'll have to accept the answer. Speaking of your time in Carolina, though, what was your reaction to Hubert Davis being released and removed from his job as the head coach?
It was really surprising. I loved Coach Davis as a coach, even more as a person. And I'm sad to see that he was let go and that they're pivoting directions. But I wish him and his family all the best moving forward.
What went into your reasoning to leave Carolina and go to Vanderbilt?
Just kind of a change of scenery. I feel like that was what was best for me. I wasn't sure going into the transfer portal where I wanted to go, but I knew what I wanted to look for in a program. And Tyler Nickel, one of my best friends, was actually in Carolina for the week. That I was kind of going through all that, and he was really my outlet, and he was somebody who helped me out and kind of helped me change the trajectory of my the last few months.
Tyler Nickel, for those of you, if you don't recall, played at Carolina and is obviously one of your teammates for Vanderbilt this past year as well. What was it, right, needing a change of scenery? What was it about the first 3 years that maybe had gone kind of, I don't want to say stale, but you weren't seeing whatever changes you needed in Carolina?
Oh, I would just say a little bit different utilization, and also just a little different freedom to, kind of just a play style, I would say, being able to play to my strengths, and I would say that, yeah.
We're talking with Jaylen Washington, member of Vanderbilt, former member of Carolina. What do you think is needed for a coach at Carolina, right? They're looking now, and they've been looking for over a week, as somebody that's been in all those meeting rooms. What do you think are the things they should be looking for?
I'm not really sure. I mean, obviously, you got to have a guy with, I would say, a winning history, and a guy who just loves embraces what Carolina is all about. I would say those are the main things.
How much was about the family and the history and everything, right? Because Hubert Davis had played for Dean Smith, and Dean Smith was an assistant for Frank McGuire, and all of this. Like, as a player, are you constantly being bombarded with all of the Carolina legacy?
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I know that it is important. Mm-hmm. But I feel like with today's day, with all the NIL stuff, and if you're focused on winning, you got to get a coach that's just going to, come in and his history speaks for himself, and he's going to, get to work and build a winning program. So I'm not sure how much of that plays into, the next hiring and all that. But I know that Carolina family do love a guy that's been at Carolina, has played for Carolina. They trust and love that.
Your current coach, Mark Byington, was actually, or especially early on, mentioned for the Carolina job, and then he turned, obviously shut that down and then just signed an extension. Did he come to you or Tyler for some hey, what's it like in Chapel Hill talks?
Nah, he didn't.
No?
He didn't at all. He's not. I don't think he's really that type of guy to give any hints as to what he might do for his next moves.
Okay. What was it about Coach Byington, though, that had you guys, especially at certain times this year, playing so well?
He's a player's coach. I feel like he did a great job. And I was just talking to somebody about this earlier. He's a great teacher, mm-hmm. and I feel like he helped. He taught us what he wanted us to do and how to play. He put us in organized settings, and he let us play to our strengths. He gave us the confidence. To play through mistakes and go out there and, just play free. So I feel like that helped us in times where we were going through adversity. And he also taught us to, stick together when things were kind of getting tough. So when we went on a 3-game losing streak, we didn't really change up anything except our game plan. We didn't really make that many drastic changes. We stuck together and we weathered the storm. And I feel like those are some of the biggest lessons he taught us this year and why we were able to be so successful.
Going back to your time at Carolina, just for one more here, and I do want to get to the All-Star game and everything else. What assistants stood out to you at Carolina? Which guys were the ones that maybe had the biggest impact on you developing your game? I
feel like Sean Mayers that had the biggest impact. He's an Indiana guy. Yeah. Also really looked up to him like a big brother, uncle type role. He was just, I was talking to a guy that I talked to every day, saw him every day. Somebody I can really confide in, and he kept it real with me every single day. So I feel like that's probably the biggest assistant who played a big role in my life. So shout out to Sean Mayers.
Jaylen Washington joining us here in Indianapolis at the Final Four, where he is getting ready to participate in the NABC All-Star game on the East roster. We're trying to show everybody in the NBA.
Oh, man, I'm just a competitor. I can do a little bit of everything, make shots, play defense. I'm just a competitor, rebound, whatever you need me to do. I'm going out there. I'm about to give 100% and have fun doing it.
Jaylen, we appreciate you for stopping by, and good luck in the All-Star game.
Thank you so much.
Once again, that is Jalen Washington, former UNC basketball player, more recently a former Vanderbilt basketball player, but giving some insight into Hubert Davis and the coaching situation, the assistant coaching staff that obviously he was working with for 3 years in Chapel Hill. Before we move on, I want to make sure everybody knows that our appearance here in Indianapolis is in part sponsored by LinkedIn Ads. Reach your buyers with LinkedIn Ads. Spend $250 and get a $250 credit for your next campaign. Visit linkedin.com/college basketball. Terms apply. There are certain things that you just can't turn down when you are at an event like Radio Row. One of them is to talk to maybe the person that is best at what they do amongst anyone at anything that they do.
Yep.
Joey Chestnut came by, and we can now say we have eaten with Joey Chestnut, which is, I mean, that's like singing with Whitney Houston or something like that. Joey Chestnut, our conversation from earlier, right after this.
I am here with Patrick Day of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I'm on your website, gutter helmets right on the front of the website. Do you have a gutter helmet to fit my head? I have a small head.
We have a gutter helmet for every head, Adam. So anyhow, if you give us a call, we'll come out and take a look at your windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, and of course we can do the gutter helmet. We have financing programs that are really good. So we have like 12 months with 0 payments for 12 months. You don't have to pay anything. So if you're thinking about home improvements and you're thinking you're saving up for it, just come on and see us, and we'll go ahead and get you set up and get your project done, and you can pay in 12 months from now.
I feel like you're speaking directly to me. If it's for the exterior of your home, there is no better place than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online, aluminumcompany.com. Siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors, and the world-famous gutter helmets. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 1-800-672-4348.
All right, Coach, what happens to my finances if I were to pass away right now?
Well, I don't know how you have your stuff set up, but what usually happens is if you have life insurance, you have to give a death certificate to the insurance company, and a tax-free check goes to your spouse or your kids or however you set it up. It's hard for Ryan to get your spouse to get anywhere with your finances because they'll have to, once you die, basically they lock that up. If you don't have an estate plan put together, you need a trust, so that'll be a key so Ryan can get a hold of your assets and everything. If not, it goes through probate, and probate's a long process and a tedious process.
Lord.
That's why you need a real estate plan and a financial plan together. We do this together, so if you want a true plan, we call it a total retirement plan. The next 10 of your listeners, Amanda, we'll do it at no cost or obligation, making sure they get everything they need before the bad things happen.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If it sounds a little different, well, it's because we're in a different location. We are. We're here in Indianapolis. The convention center, just a stone's throw from Lucas Oil Stadium, which is where the Final Four will be taking place this weekend. The area is abuzz, and our ability to be here is brought to you. The Drive in Indianapolis is brought to you by Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. As I said, the electricity is high. There is a buzz inherently about Carolina's job still being open. There's a buzz about the transfer portal about to open.
Yep.
And there is also a different kind of buzz, one that can only be brought about by the 17-time Nathan's hot dog eating champion. Joey Chestnut was in the building earlier today, and he stopped by to talk. This is our conversation with the eating legend. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9. The Fan continues our coverage from Radio Row here in Indianapolis for the Final Four, and we have an absolute legend sitting down with us today. We have Joey Chestnut, the 55 records in 55 different eating disciplines, 17-time Nathan's hot dog eating champion, Joey Chestnut. Joey, appreciate it.
Oh, happy to be on with you.
Let's start maybe reverse here. What's one food you can't eat? What's one food you don't like?
Ooh, raw oysters is rough.
Raw oysters.
Well, it's scary too. Like you can get a bad oyster and like people die. So like it's a game of numbers. Like the record for oysters is like 400 oysters in 8 minutes. So it's
So is it a fear thing or is
a little
it
bit of fear? Also
texture?
Yeah, it's really salty. I don't think I could. I've never been sick during a contest, and that one might tip. Yeah, that boat might tip over on that.
Maybe more down the middle for you. When's obviously 4th of July is when we're all tuned in watching, but like April 2nd, when's the last time you had a hot dog?
Oh, when was my last time having a hot dog? It's been a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not just like you don't train a little bit every week.
Well, once I start training, it gets intense.
Okay.
So every practice, I do a cleanse beforehand, and then there's a recovery period afterwards. So it's like I'm going to a minor league baseball game on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be going. I'll definitely have some dogs there. But but when I train, it's intense.
We're talking with 17-time Nathan's hot dog eating champion Joey Chestnut here in Indianapolis. Who I don't know if this happens very often. We just saw you fumble the cap to your water. I feel like eating and drinking. If you make a mistake, this is on camera. This should be like noted.
So like the beginning of the contest, my first hot dog is always the hardest, because I'm always worried about fumbling, and I got to find the rhythm. If I'm nervous, I'm a nervous guy. But once I find my rhythm, then I can keep it going.
You talked about the training and the cleanses and everything else. Is this all trial and error? Because like I played football, right? And there's a million football coaches out there that'll tell you how to train for football. Do you just figure this out on your own, things that work for you?
Yeah, a lot of it was trial and error. I got some advice from doctors. And then when I started, the American Eaters, they tried to give me advice. Like, guys, you guys are getting beat. So I'm like, I'm not really going to take their advice. So it was trial and error helped a lot. And I'm an engineer. I went to school for engineering. And I put work in.
Obviously. Look at this. We have something being delivered here.
Oh, baby.
We got some shrimp? Absolutely.
This is shrimp with this is St. Elmo shrimp in their cocktail.
St. Elmo Steakhouse, world famous cocktail sauce, and a little shrimp here.
It's, one of my 55 records. I think 20 pounds of shrimp with their sauce on it.
20 pounds?
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to get to eat with Joey Chestnut? I feel like this is like getting to catch a pass from John Elway or something.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Very spicy, by the way, the cocktail sauce.
All right. That is a little spicy. You're going to be... That is very spicy. I've got him. More of a warning there.
No, that's what they're famous for. That sauce is everywhere now.
It's very good, but it is spicy. Not great for radio. So I'm gonna bring in Dennis here. Here's my question. Dennis,
oh yeah, that's spicy. Oh my god.
Dennis, my producer, big dude, right?
Yeah.
Likes to eat. How many hot dogs could you spot him and still win in like a
10-minute contest?
Yeah. Like if he had to get 10 and you were going for 70, would you beat him?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I would have to give him 50 hot dogs at least.
Okay.
The 50 hot dog handicap.
All right, that's fair. Sounds like a challenge. Accepted. You're still going to beat me. That's totally fine. But my gosh, this is spicy.
I think a lot of with a little bit of thought, most guys can get to 20 hot dogs. If their first time eating practice, they'll be like right around 10 or 11. With a little bit of practice, they can get up to 20.
That's interesting. So like with Joey Chestnut, who we're talking to here at Radio Row, as like I like to consider myself a pretty good eater, but I'm a normal guy eater. Like with your coaching, how many could I put down in like a 10-minute contest?
You have that long, slender build.
Yeah. I like the scouting report. I like it.
you could probably excuse me.
It's hitting you a little bit too,
Oh, my throat. But I think 25 is pretty doable, pretty quick.
Okay.
You're not your first time, but it's like with a little bit of technique, you can control your breathing. You find your happy place and push your body. It's a lot like running. Once you start running, your first time doing any kind of distance run, you suck. But you can start putting on miles real quick.
Do you cross train? Talk about running.
I do try to jog.
And that helps your eating?
Well, being able to find that rhythm with breathing, I'm actually swallowing air while I'm jogging, holding my breath. That's what, during the contest, I have to sneak in all my breaths and control my breathing. That's the most important thing.
This really is like a science to you, right?
Oh, I want to say it's science, and I've had to perfect it and really find all the little things that make me good and try to and find my weaknesses too.
How did you figure out you were really good at this?
Being yelled at by my parents growing up.
Just eating too fast?
Oh, eating fast. My brothers would get mad at me. And then in college, my friends realized I could eat. And then
it became like
they were like, oh, you got to do one
cafeteria
of these.
trick?
They were like, you got to go do the 4th of July contests.
That's crazy. I feel like we all had the like cafeteria challenges, but it was usually like eat something gross. It wasn't like eat the most because you only had so much on your tray.
Oh my God! In college, we had with the chicken tenders. Chicken tenders were great. Oh my God! I would when I got in line and that tray was empty, I wouldn't leave much.
Are you banned from like buffets?
No. Well, I usually don't do buffets.
Okay.
I like high quality food, but I'm super lucky. Like if I go to St. Elmo or some of these great places, like their head chef will, oh, you got to try this, and they'll send out like their best food, and they love that I actually eat it. Like there's a lot of
people like me are like, hey, I get to eat with Joey Chestnut, so it's like playing catch with John Elway.
It's always great. Like, oh my God, yeah. Always if I'm at a baseball game, people just, oh, try this hot dog. I'm like, yes, it's on.
Obviously, you're a competitor. Are you a sports fan? Do you like watching other sports?
I do enjoy it. My bracket's not doing too bad.
Okay. Give us a pick for the Final Four. 4 teams standing. Who remains?
Oh well, I think Arizona's going to win.
Okay.
I had them going. I have Illinois. My bracket has Illinois in it, but not winning. Dude, Duke messed everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Arizona's going to get this.
All right. Joey Chestnut, the legendary eater, joining us here in Indianapolis. That was fun, Joey. Once again, Joey Chestnut, we have now broken bread with the best eater of all time.
I know.
We have eaten with the best eater of all time.
That stuff's spicy, by the way.
It was good, but it was maybe not the smartest thing to house like a full shrimp's worth of the cocktail sauce while on live radio.
Full tablespoon.
It was good though. It was very tasty. Once again, thank you to Joey Chestnut for stopping by, and thank you to Liberty Mutual, because our appearance here in Indianapolis is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Liberty Mutual customizes your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Talk to Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime opportunity. You see why cities like Indianapolis will work so hard to be awarded things like Final Fours.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis and I were just talking off air. When you get off the plane, as we landed late last night, after midnight.
This morning.
As you get off the plane, you can't look anywhere without knowing Final Four is here this weekend.
Yeah.
And I would say similar to North Carolina, although this state is trying to put it over. Indiana takes their basketball seriously.
They do.
Hoosier State takes their basketball seriously, and you can tell. Also, just in a kind of unique vibe, the NABC is taking place right here, which is the National Association of Basketball Coaches. So they have a convention going on. If you just like walk out of Radio Row, there's a 30% chance you're going to bump into like a top 25 coach in the country.
Oh, Mark Few was like 2 seats behind us just a minute ago.
Mark Few bounced around. There's, you name it, unless they're coaching in it.
Yeah.
They're here, right? They're here and hanging out, which, like I said, once in a lifetime opportunity. It's pretty darn cool. So shout out to Indianapolis for hosting and doing everything the right way. Shout out to the Lucas Oil Stadium and surrounding buildings for doing a good job. We're having a blast.
I think you hit the nail on the head. They're doing it the right way. We just getting off the plane, you're at the Final Four. Everything about Indiana loves basketball, but even just the walk from the hotel to where we are at the convention center, which is literally like 2 blocks away from Lucas Oil Stadium, you can't look anywhere and not see something that's Final Four. That's the thing. Like, there's something Final Four everywhere. So, people in the city, they know it. You come here, you know that there is a major event going on, and they're treating it like a major event.
And they're talking a little trash.
They are.
I brought it up during the Jalen Washington interview. There's gigantic signs all over the place that say, in 49 states, it's just basketball. This is Indiana. I'm like, well, right? If somebody, or maybe there's a few people from Indiana that are flying in, but most of the people that are flying in are coming from other states.
Yeah.
And if you're flying in for the Final Four, you probably take your basketball pretty seriously wherever you live.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing you see is Indiana going like, you're not like us. And then as you keep walking, they have the rims from all of the national championships that any team from the state of North Carolina or state of Indiana has won. Division 1, 2, 3, men's, women's. National championships are all honored right there, like in the lobby of the airport. They're just like, hey, we won them all. And it's not all of them, obviously, but Indiana's talking a little trash, saying it with their chest.
They are, but I just wouldn't like to just, look at the banners in the state of North Carolina and then, come talk to us later.
I'm not saying they're winning the trash talking. I'm just saying that they're willing to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for most of the 49 other states, they are winning the trash talk. It's just not when we show up.
Exactly.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will continue from Indianapolis.
Should they put a dome on Bank of America so we can have the Final Four at Bank of America in Charlotte?
David Tepper should do it. That's actually something David Tepper would brag about. I brought the Final Four to the state of North Carolina.
Infrastructure,
Beyonce.
concerts.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up to start the next hour, we're going to talk to one of the newest coaches in the ACC, not a North Carolina school, but the ACC, still our home conference. Georgia Tech's new coach, Scott Cross, stopped by our booth earlier today. You'll hear that next.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's the best time of the year for college basketball, and Buffalo Brothers is a slam dunk. Best place in the Triangle to watch all the big games. They always have great drink specials, and check this out. Every Monday, half-price wings all day. That's half-price wings all day Monday. Dine in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Check out any of their 5 Triangle locations or online at buffbrothers.com. Aw, man! Now I want wings.
This is Ray Womble Jr. from J.E. Womble & Sons in Lillington. Spring is here and lawn mowing will be in full force. Our new lineup of Bobcat zero-turn mowers are bringing tough to turf. Built to give you a professional edge, engineered to last longer and work harder. Come check out the Bobcat ZT 2000 series at a discount of $1,200 with 0% financing. And remember, if J.E. Womble & Sons doesn't have it, you don't need it.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill? Or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to CarShield.com. That's CarShield.com today.
I'm attorney Brian Richie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Highs this afternoon will reach the low to mid 80s and we'll have lots of sunshine. Then mostly clear overnight. We drop to around 60. Partly cloudy on Friday with highs back in the low 80s. Some isolated showers are possible.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 54 points to 46,511.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues from Radio Row here at the Final Four in Indianapolis. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is Scott Cross, one of the newest coaches in the ACC for Georgia Tech. Coach, we appreciate you for taking the time. Obviously, a successful run at Troy. Now you jump to Georgia Tech. What sold you about this being the job and this being the time for you to make the jump to the ACC?
They've been there, they've done it, they've made it all the way to the national championship game back in 2003, 2004. So you know the capabilities there. I grew up a Georgia Tech fan as a kid back in probably, I don't know, 8th or 9th grade, watching Kenny Anderson and Dennis Scott and that group. It was so good. And so, yeah, I just think the potential is there to be great. I think Atlanta's an unbelievable city. I think they're ready to get behind and support it. Obviously, we have to put a good product on the court, but that's the plan moving forward.
So you have the history down. That's obvious. This is a little bit different environment from those Kenny Anderson teams. Are you pleased with, or do you know that you will have the rev share and the NIL support needed to compete in a conference like the ACC?
Yeah, I feel really good about where we're going, and I know we're going to continue to improve. But yeah, there's definitely enough to win a championship and get where we need to go. And so I'm excited about it. And there's so many people, just like when I was at the baseball game, that are, just really, really fired up and ready to help and ready to come out and support. And obviously we feel like we can have one of the best home courts in all of college basketball. They've done it before. And again, it just takes a couple of wins to get it going and get that place rocking again.
Scott Cross, Georgia Tech's new head men's basketball coach, joining us here on The Drive on 99.9 The Fan. Coach, what's the message, or have you had the conversations with the current Georgia Tech guys with eligibility remaining? Because, as you're aware, I'm sure there's some guys that I really think are pretty darn talented already on the roster.
Yeah, there definitely are some very talented guys. I mean, for me, I want guys that want to be a part of it. So that's the first thing, finding out the guys that want to be a part of this and then seeing if it's a good fit. I talked about it during the press conference, but we want, OKGs, our kind of guys. So, guys that are high character, that are blue collar, that are selfless, that will work hard, that are about the team, just guys that are coachable and about winning. And if they check all those boxes, then obviously we have a big time interest in them as well.
Obviously, you're coming from the Sun Belt, which you had a ton of success in. ACC a little different. What do you think are maybe the things that translate and the things that don't when you make that jump?
I think for the most part, the majority of it translates. I mean, basketball is basketball. The only difference is in the ACC, there's bigger, better athletes in the program. But in order to win, you have to do the little things. I don't care whether you're in the YMCA or a national championship game, the teams that play together, where the collection is better than the individual parts, those are the teams that are going to be successful. So we just have to convince the guys to play together, and obviously we have to recruit high-end talented guys. And when you have a taller, bigger, stronger, faster team, you're going to have more opportunities to be successful. So just mixing that all together, but ball is ball, and there's not a whole lot of things we'll change in terms of what we do defensively. We'll adjust it a little bit based on our personnel. Same with offensively. We'll make adjustments depending on where our strengths are and where our weaknesses are. But, it's not rocket science. You just have to do what you do, and you have to do it at a very high level.
We are, I believe, 5 days away from the portal opening up on April 7th. But we've asked a few coaches here in Indianapolis, are you ready for free agency in a few days? And the consensus has kind of been, it's already started. So when you're looking for OKGs, those are our kind of guys, where are you in that process as far as evaluating the likely thousands of names that'll be in the portal?
Yeah, I mean, guys are announcing it online all the time, so you kind of have an idea of the guys that may go in there, and so you can start, watching film and doing some background checking and things like that. But yeah, when April 7th rolls around, we want to have a pretty good idea of the guys we want to go after, and we want to do our homework in advance, so you're not wasting a whole lot of time.
Coach, welcome to the ACC. We appreciate you for taking the time, and good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
Once again, that was the newest head coach of the Georgia Tech men's basketball team, giving us a little bit of insight. And I'll put it this way: one of the things that has been brought up to us by multiple coaches is how in the current era of basketball, and this was brought up by Coach Richie from Furman, it was brought up by Steve Forbes from Wake Forest in a conversation that started our show, and it wasn't explicitly brought up right there by Coach, but I'll tell you this: you need to know your identity, right? That's what everybody's getting after, and Scott Cross shows up to Georgia Tech for a team that I want to say doesn't have an identity, but I think it's now going to pair a little bit better with what they have going over on the football side of things with Coach Brent Key. I always say Georgia Tech football, the way it stands right now under Coach Key, is it's very obvious that he was a former offensive line coach, right? And that's just a different vibe. If you are a head coach that was a former defensive line coach or a former offensive line coach or a former quarterbacks coach, you're going to coach differently. You're going to have a different vibe. Georgia Tech, they are coached by an offensive line coach. And Scott Cross there, for as much as a basketball coach came across as like the offensive line coach of the basketball coaches.
Yeah, perfect for our football 4, basically.
Perfect for football 4, even better. Football 4 is going to be a little bit more difficult from the Final Four, but yeah, that's a great point. It is a situation where, which, by the way, we are at the Final Four thanks to our friends over at Carolina Ale House. Thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Going back to it, though, I love talking about the variety in the ACC, how there's, so many different teams, and if you're going to, run the table in the ACC, if you're going to be a top 2, top 3 seed in the ACC tournament, you're going to have played every different kind of team, right? You can't just beat teams that play through the post, or you can't just beat teams that like to get out and run and just be good at facing that one opponent and expect to be at the top of the ACC. You have to beat every kind of opponent. To me, just based on that conversation with Coach Cross, if you're going to play Georgia Tech, you're probably going to play, I don't even know if they're like 6'11" centers. They're going to be like 6'9", but with shoulders that are,
right.
Like they're going to be tough. They're going to be strong. They're going to want to move you out of the way. And maybe analytics be darned is kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah, beat you in the paint.
Beat you in the paint, or even if your shooting guard is built like Sion James of Duke was. You know what I mean? Like
built like a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. Built like a edge rusher. Like they dribble. They don't do all the fancy, and one stuff. They dribble straight and dare you to get on the tracks, which is good. Again, I think that's good because you might face a Michigan in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's apples to apples. Michigan is wildly talented and wildly successful for a bunch of reasons, but you're going to have to be physically tough to beat a team like Michigan with their size. So, if you play a brawler a time or two in the ACC schedule or the ACC tournament, I think that can help you be ready, right? Because as we've seen, this is really the first year where it hasn't been true in a long time.
Yeah.
The ACC is usually more NCAA tournament battle tested than other conferences. This year, you might say it didn't look that way, and I might have to agree with you, but we have like the 10 previous years is, a pretty good sample size on the ACC, better preparing you for runs once you get to the postseason. So I want that to continue, and the only way that continues is if they keep their variety, right? Because remember, you used to have to face, Carolina getting up and down.
Yeah.
Virginia trying to slow you down. Syracuse playing the 2-3 zone. Florida State, who everybody was like 6'6", but had a 7'7" wingspan under Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah.
You had to face every different type of team, and then if you survived that gauntlet, nothing was going to survive or surprise you in the NCAA tournament. So I kind of want to get back to that, and I think they will. But you need guys like Scott Cross taking over a Georgia Tech program and giving them a very obvious identity to continue that variety.
Should be fun. I'm curious to see what happens. There's so much turnover in the ACC in terms of coaches. We talked to Steve Forbes earlier. He's like, yeah, I'm one of the elder statesmen. He even jokes, like, yeah, I think go to these coaches meetings, I need name tags now. It feels like.
What I hope it's like I don't play a lot of cards, but in poker you get like 5 cards, you can replace 2, and then you get you know what I mean? Like I almost want the ACC to be that with unlimited replacements.
Okay.
So right, you have your 18 coaches, right, and then 5 switch out, and you might keep one of those and switch out 4, and then you keep one of those and you switch out 3 more, and then all right, like and until you have like a straight flush, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From whatever the hiring cycle 4 years ago, all right, we're going to keep Shire, right, and then you shuffle them all back up in the next hiring cycle, whoever it is, right? All right, we're going to keep Luke Laux, and then. Okay, I'm going
to keep Ryan Odom.
I'm going to keep Ryan Odom, and I'm going to keep. We're going to keep 2 from that one. We're going to keep Jay Lucas too, and already in place is somebody like Forbes, and until eventually you have what was during the golden era of ACC basketball, which felt like if you replaced 2 or 3 coaches in a season, it was like, whoa, what unbelievable changeover just happened, because you knew Duke wasn't changing, you knew Carolina wasn't changing, you knew Syracuse wasn't changing, like you knew those schools weren't changing. So there's a little bit of changeover happening right now that is rocking and rolling and shaking the boat. But as long as you're picking up a couple good ones each time, eventually you're going to have that straight flush, and the ACC will be right back where it was.
Yeah, it's amazing because, when Steve Forbes got hired, you still had Roy, you still had Coach K, you still had Boeheim, you still had Tony Bennett. I mean, some big-time names. Leonard Hamilton. There's some big-time names in the college basketball world.
That's actually the year where I feel worse for Leonard Hamilton because they didn't finish, and he had the best team that he had at
such
Florida
a good
State.
Florida State team.
Unbelievable. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on and bring you more from here in Indianapolis, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick, once again, for my friends over at Law Tigers. One of the things I miss about when we're actually traveling on the road is that I don't get to bring my motorcycle with me. Been on the road a lot recently, with up and down the different parts of the East Coast, and I miss having the motorcycle. I get to different areas, like, man, riding my bike through this town or this area, this neighborhood would be so much fun. But I know as a motorcycle rider, sometimes things when you're actually riding out on roads in different areas that you're not used to, the roads can be a bit unpredictable. Sometimes you don't always fully understand how traffic is going to flow in areas, or maybe there's some potholes that you're not used to being around. So it's sometimes you have to make sure that you are aware in advance of your ride. Plan your rides out as a motorcycle rider to be best safe out there on the road. But injuries can happen when you're out there on a motorcycle, and accidents can definitely happen for sure. And if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, you got to give Law Tigers a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Here's the thing about Law Tigers attorneys as opposed to the insurance company. Insurance companies, they want to give you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they are there to fight for you. They are part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike is worth. They know what your gear is worth. But also they understand the risks of the road and what it's like to go through an accident. That's why your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles, because Law Tigers, they are there to fight for you. Give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan from Radio Row in Indianapolis, the host of the Final Four. We'll be back, and when we're in Indianapolis, we have to dive a little bit into the Indy 500 and Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Right?
And when in Rome, when in Indy, you got to talk Indy 500. So we have a participant, a driver, an IndyCar driver, Connor Daly, and an executive from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that we talked to earlier today, and those conversations are coming up right after this.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Call Trajan today at 919-205-9800. That's 919-205-9800.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Welcome into the drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are joined here on Radio Row at the Final Four in Indianapolis by Connor Daly, IndyCar driver, done some stuff in the NASCAR world as well. The Xfinity Series mixes it up. But on Final Four weekend, we have to start. Are you a basketball fan?
I love basketball. I'm a Indiana Basketball Academy graduate. I did 3 years at Tom Abernathy's Indiana Basketball Academy. I love the Pacers, and the funny thing is, though, is I didn't go to college, so I don't have like an allegiance to a college team, but I love basketball. So having the Final Four here is super cool, and so many of my friends did go to college, so I've got a lot of friends that are very passionate about it as well.
I feel like not being a Hoosier, are you making like that kind of a statement, being from Indiana and not being a Hoosier fan? You're saying that publicly?
I mean, so the funny thing is, on my helmet last year, I had a very Indiana theme, and so I had the state of Indiana on the top of my helmet, and basically all of the Indiana colleges, like in different places where they were, and so I try to spread the love. I really do. My brother did go to Purdue. He just graduated. My youngest brother went to Purdue, and he graduated from Purdue like last year. So he's a big Purdue guy, and so obviously they were sad about the exit from the tournament recently. But yeah, I love Indiana sports. That's what I will say.
I mean, who would have thought, right? Especially when you were growing up, that like, hey, if you're a huge basketball fan, it might be a bit better to lean Purdue. But if you're a football fan, it might be better to lean Indiana, right? That's
crazy.
Never would have saw that coming.
The funny thing about that, too, is I have so many friends. Like, I have my buddy Deep, who is the diehard Deep, like, Purdue fan. Okay. He's Purdue. And then I've got my buddy Steven, IU. And our buddy Clayton Anderson, who's got Clayton's Country Bar here in Indianapolis, IU guy. So, but it seemed like for that time when Indiana was competing for the national championship, everyone was an Indiana fan for some reason. And even me, I was like, heck yeah, I'm an IU guy now, apparently. And it was just awesome to see, I think, for our state, and I think for so many folks that just love college sports. It was just the energy in our city was so awesome, and I love to see it.
We're talking with Connor Daly, IndyCar driver here in Indianapolis at Radio Row in the Final Four. Where does racing fit into all of that in Indiana's like sports hierarchy? Like where's the Motor Speedway has to be somewhere.
Oh yeah, I mean ask anyone from Indiana. I mean, you know that the Indy 500 is our holy grail. And I mean, it's the single largest attended sporting event in the world, right? It's Memorial Day weekend. whole month of May. I mean, we're even. I mean, at the end of this month in April, we have our 2-day open test at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll have all 33 cars out there for the Indianapolis 500, getting ready to go, and just the whole month of May. There's nothing like it. There truly is, and I think no matter how much you appreciate sports, if you get to go to the Indy 500 and check it out, it's like, dang, okay, we get it. This is insane. I mean, what we're doing is still one of the most, I think, crazy thing. I mean, 245 miles an hour, basically land rockets. I mean, we saw a rocket launch last night. I mean, we're essentially, the G-forces, we're doing stuff similar to that, right? Like, we're doing speeds, 240 plus miles an hour. There truly is nothing like it, I think, right now in motorsport. And it's so cool to be able to go and see that. And I'm super proud of it. And I love it. And being the only guy born and raised in Indiana in the race, I'm super just stoked every year to be able to see the crowd and see the people that come every day to the track.
Hearing that regional pride in your sport, it reminds me a lot of what we see quite a bit in North Carolina.
For sure. Specifically
to, I think NASCAR is a bit more there. So make your pitch back to our listeners. If somebody is a diehard NASCAR fan, which I know you've driven in that series as well, why should they be, maybe broadening their horizons and looking IndyCar?
Well, I think what's interesting about our fan bases is everyone seems to be very you're either this or that. Whereas I'm an IndyCar driver, but I've raced in the Daytona 500, and I have a lot of respect for the NASCAR drivers, and I think they have a lot of respect for us too. Obviously, we've seen Kyle Larson come over to try the Indianapolis 500, so I just would love more people to have an appreciation for all the sports, right? It's not bad to watch both IndyCar and NASCAR, right? It's actually kind of cool. I think you learn more if you watch both, and you kind of get an appreciation for both. Because I religiously, last weekend, we had an off weekend. I religiously watched every NASCAR session, whether it was the Truck Series, the O'Reilly Series, Cup Series. It doesn't matter. So it's something for me that I just hope people actually give IndyCar more of a chance if they haven't yet, because I think you might enjoy it. And then there's a lot of the folks in NASCAR that still do want to come and try the Indy 500, and I hope they do, right? I think it's such a cool thing that a lot of our motorsport, whether it's Formula One drivers coming over to try the Indianapolis 500 or the IndyCar Series, whether it's Kyle Larson coming over, I think that's awesome to see, because it's just motorsport. And at the end of the day, it's heck yeah, we're going fast, and we're banging wheels at 200 plus miles an hour.
We're talking with Connor Daly, IndyCar driver here in Indianapolis. Let's really mix basketball and racing here. What's Michael Jordan doing for motorsports? Talking about just getting people into sports with an engine. He's the biggest star in basketball and maybe in sport, and now he's so involved in a motorsport.
I think it's just awesome. And Denny Hamlin, I have a respect for him too. I mean, Denny. We both have podcasts in Dale Jr.'s Dirty Mo Media, so I respect Denny and support that. But what they're doing over there, I think, at 2311 is awesome. And Tyler Reddick is an awesome dude as well. He's obviously killing it right now, and I just love to see it. Michael Jordan going out there celebrating wins. I mean, so many wins in a row.
He's jumping over barricades.
Oh yeah,
people out, chest bumping the pit crew.
Sports guy. I mean, that's just a sports dude, and I love to see it. And I think there are more athletes in football, basketball that love racing than you might think. And again, it's having a respect for the professional motorsport landscape and just professional sports in general. I love to see that crossover.
You brought up a name that is going to perk up some ears in our neck of the woods, Dale.
Yeah.
Do you have any good Dale Jr. stories?
Man, I love the fact that he just loves racing. The guy just loves racing, no matter what it is. Yeah, of course.
Similar to you, right? Grew up around the track with Dad.
Yeah, and the fact that even he the fact that our my podcast Speed Street gets to be under his banner. He loves IndyCar, right? And he loves NASCAR, loves short track racing, loves local racing. The guy just loves the sport, gives back to it, and I have so much respect for him.
All right, so you've proven in our conversation you're a sports guy bona fide, but we are at the Final Four, so yes. I need a pick, right? 4 teams. Give us who's going to be left standing.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. What Coach Dan Hurley's doing at UConn, the whole clip of him with his headbutting the ref and that last second shot to beat Duke.
If you see your crew chief or one of your guys and your forearm is touching, or forehead, is touching an official, you have to imagine something's going horrendously wrong.
Exactly. And I literally just listened to his interview on Pardon My Take again this morning. I love his style, it seems, but Michigan seems really good right now, man, and Arizona seems really good. It's hard to make a pick, but I do love the UConn story. I feel like Michigan's going to be hard to beat, though. I feel like they got some crazy, massive dudes, right? So I don't have a pick, but I would love to see Dan Hurley and UConn in the national championship game.
Connor, we appreciate it. We'll let you out with that little cop-out answer on the pick. But good luck this season. Keep driving like a man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Once again, Connor Daly, IndyCar driver, part-time at times, NASCAR driver, podcast host, and Indiana native who refuses to pick an allegiance in all the Indiana debates. He wants the whole state to love him. He's
does.
Like Purdue, Indiana, everybody. He's kind of just wishy-washy.
Maybe we'll see him pop up in a NASCAR race at some point later on this year.
Could be very cool. Could be a good opportunity for him.
Maybe we'll see him in Charlotte. That'd be awesome.
That would be. He drives the number 23 Chevrolet part-time in IndyCar. If Jordan were to branch into IndyCar, I'm already sitting in the 23. You know what I mean?
Match made in heaven.
There
Let's
you
go.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are live in Indianapolis, which is why you just heard from an IndyCar driver. The Drive is in Indianapolis thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. And we are in Indianapolis also for the Final Four. We are here at Radio Row. We're talking to college coaches all day today and tomorrow. I just want to update everybody. We will be live for a tournament tailgate show from 10 to noon tomorrow, and then also for our 3 to 6 traditional broadcast. So tune in early to catch all the action from here in Indianapolis. And today was a great day. Talked to a bunch of really, really good, really, really insightful coaches and newsmakers in college sports, as well as another Indy big swinging executive that we'll talk about in a second here. But we expect more of the same tomorrow. I don't know if we'll get Joey Chestnut again, but we expect more big names and fun interviews tomorrow on the show, both of them, 10 to noon and 3 to 6. Now, as promised, a senior director, marketing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Again, when in Indy, you got to talk Motor Speedway. It's Michael Kaltenmark, and this is our conversation from earlier. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues our live coverage from Indianapolis for the Final Four, Radio Row, and joining us, somebody that is synonymous with Indianapolis, or at least the place he works. We have Michael Colton-Mark. There you go. I was going to flip Mark and Michael there. Senior Director of Marketing for the Indy Motor Speedway here at our booth. Michael, we'll start with, are you a little jealous that like college basketball is trademarked madness? Because I feel like there's a lot of madness at the motor speedway as well.
There is, but it's actually aspirational for us. You think about the month of March and March Madness, that's synonymous with college basketball, right? And at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we tend to own the month of May. And so our sort of slogan or saying is, this is May. And around here, if you say that, people know exactly what you mean. And it can be an excuse for why you didn't go to work, or it could just be something crazy that happens on track. But May in Indianapolis is like December everywhere else in the world. And so I always feel like March Madness and what the NCAA does is sort of a benchmark for us to aspire to. I'd love for May to sort of transcend beyond Indiana and start taking over the rest of the country. So I actually love it, and I'm all about it. And I'm a Butler Bulldog and was a part of those Final Four runs, of course, originated here in Indianapolis in 2010. So, having the tournament back here brings a lot of fond memories back for me personally, but for those of us at the Speedway who host a big event every May and then throughout the season, we love this time of year. We love that, basketball has returned to Indiana for this event.
Well, we're from the Triangle in North Carolina, so you bring up Butler Final Fours.
Yeah.
There's some Duke fans out there that are going, oh, thank you for reminding me. And they need a little cheering up right now.
I hope they enjoy that win.
They need a little cheering up right now. But speaking of the basketball motorsports kind of crossover, Michael Jordan is another guy that's extremely popular in our area and every area.
Yes.
And now he's dabbling in kind of dominating.
Dominating,
moment,
that's a great way to put it.
In the motorsports world, what does that do for really every sport?
All ships, all tides rise, right? Like I'm here for the Michael Jordan era of NASCAR. It's incredible. As a kid who grew up watching Michael Jordan, just a stone's throw away from Chicago, like I was a big MJ fan. And then to see him get involved with something I love, motorsports, it's been awesome. And now to watch him dominate just like Michael does, it's incredible. And, you know, if you know anything about Michael's team, 2311, like they're a little bit, you know, out there. They're fashion forward. The way they integrate sponsors and activates a little bit unique. They're attracting a younger audience, which is great for the sport. And so if Michael Jordan and NASCAR are the entry point for, say, my sons who are in high school and middle school, then great. I'm here for it. Whatever gets them to take interest and come to the racetrack. So it's fun to see what Michael's doing. And, you know, he came into a sport that he thought was a little broken, and he thought that he could fix, and he's doing it. And it's certainly something he's passionate about. You got to respect that. So like I said, I'm here for it. And his team and Bubba Wallace are the defending champs at the Brickyard from the Brickyard 400 this past year. So excited to have him back and see if they can defend that win.
He is one of those people you mentioned, like he sees something and he thinks like, I'm going to go dominate it.
Yes.
And then he just does.
Yes.
Which leads me to, we had this conversation with Connor Daly earlier, North Carolina heavy NASCAR compared to IndyCar as far as the fans that I interact with.
Yep.
What's the pitch to get some of those NASCAR fans to try something similar but different? And you know, there are similarities, but not exact.
Absolutely. You know, I tend to you know, think if you like motorsports, then, you know, there's a little something for everybody. And you can certainly have a favorite. If I'm in North Carolina, NASCAR is probably my favorite, and that's cool. But I figure there's no reason to not tune into the IndyCar race, right, and get a little something out of that. I know I do. I'm probably an IndyCar fan first and foremost. The Indy 500 is why I love motorsport. But, you know, when the IndyCar race is over, I find myself flipping over to the NASCAR race and just picking up right where I left off, and I follow it as well. And so IndyCar, I think we want to welcome those NASCAR fans with open arms, especially in May and the Indy 500. No longer do we need to compete. I think if we want to compete, let's go together against Formula One maybe. And let's join.
Is that the rival? Is that the rivalry right there?
I mean, I think if we think about
Netflix show or something?
TV viewership and things like that, like, I think there's room for IndyCar fans, NASCAR fans, sports car fans to unite and maybe say, you know, what we've got over here in America is as good, if not better, than Formula One. It's more accessible. The racing's better. It's more affordable. It's just a better product. And I'm talking about IndyCar, NASCAR, IMSA. Certainly have respect for what Formula One does. I watch it. I keep track of it. But, you know, having been around it, I think I can speak from authority. And so I don't think we have to divide sides anymore. If anything, we can unite as American race fans.
I love that. I love that energy, and I appreciate you for stopping by and talking.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tim.
Once again, that was Michael Kaltenmark, Senior Director, Marketing for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I was not lying at the end there. I love that energy. I want to unite all American motorsports, and we need to go take down F1. They're getting too much buzz on Netflix, and we need to make sure everybody understands how cool the North American motorsports are. That's just me. Just sounds like a fun fight, fun rivalry to get into. By the way, we are here in Indianapolis, which is why we were talking to a director from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, in part thanks to TaxSlayer. Sponsored by TaxSlayer. Get the tax support you need, plus every tax break you deserve for your max refund guaranteed. Head to TaxSlayer.com to get started for free. File fearlessly. Now, we are also in Indianapolis, not just to talk about some motorsports in the Indy 500, because it is the host for the Final Four in a few days. And with that comes our opportunity to talk with a bunch of college coaches. Fran McCaffrey is an interesting one. He is the head coach at Penn after being a longtime head coach at Iowa. In the early 2000s, head coach at UNC Greensboro. This is a lifer in the college sports world. And he also coached TJ Power, who began his career at Duke before spending a year at Virginia and then joining him at Penn, where he had a massive year, including 44 points in the Ivy League championship to punch Penn's ticket to the NCAA tournament. We touch on it all from in this conversation from earlier between us here in Indianapolis and Fran McCaffrey, who joined us here on our booth. We're back here on The Drive in Indianapolis, Radio Row for the Final Four. The Drive in Indianapolis is thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We're now joined by Fran McCaffrey, Penn head men's basketball coach. Many of our listeners from the Triangle in Raleigh will remember as the UNC Greensboro coach from back in the early 2000s. So, Coach, you're speaking to some old acquaintances. Thank you very much for taking the time, first of all.
Well, thanks for having me.
Speaking of connections to our area, how did you get the most out of TJ Power when Duke and Virginia weren't able to make it work?
I think it's the knowledge I have of him, his family, and his game. You know, I started recruiting him when he was a sophomore. Went to every one of his games on the AAU circuit, a number of his high school games. I know what his character is, and I know what his skill set is. And we just made sure we took full advantage of it. I mean, he played point forward. He was a power forward. He was a three-point shooter. He was a driving kick guy. I mean, you name it, we moved him around and took advantage of all the different things he can do. And the kid's just a winner.
Is that new college basketball where you miss on a recruit or you don't get him, and instead of going like, darn, we didn't get him, you go, hold, we might have another chance here in a couple years. Let's not delete our inbox.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because, I mean, I recruited him the second time when he went to Virginia, and I had a great relationship with his mom and dad. And then, you know, when it came to an end at Iowa, they both reached out to me and just, hey, Coach, we're thinking about you, you know, and maybe we should have sent him with you at the beginning, but just know how much respect we have for you. And I said, well, guess what? Give me a couple days, all right, because I'm going to be coming after him again. I'm going to be somewhere, and I was fortunate enough to be hired at Penn about 10 days later, and we began the process, and, you know, the rest is history. I mean, 44 points in the conference championship game. You don't see that very often, but that's who he is.
And we're talking with Fran McCaffrey, head coach of Penn. There was the talk of the illness that he was going through, and I said on air, I was like, well, the guy just scored 44 points and did all that. I have a feeling he's going to find a way out there onto the floor, and sure enough, he did. That's just the kind of guy he is.
Well, you know, it's the first time in my coaching career when I went to put a guy back in, and he was in the locker room answering nature's call.
So he was going through it.
we put 5 IVs in him to get him out there, and he did everything he could to get out there. He had a miserable couple days. You know, this is the worst time to ever get a bug like that. And, you know, I took him out with 8 minutes to go, and my trainer's like, don't put him back in. But I walked down just to hear him say it. I said, you ready to go back? He said, yeah, Coach, I'm ready to go back. I'll come back. I didn't put him back in.
All right, I want to use you for your decades of experience here.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk right now about how to work refs, relationships with refs. Can you touch foreheads with some refs and maybe not other refs? Can you take us through the relationship building process for a coach and a ref that you might see multiple times a year and perhaps in a really big game?
You know, I think that's the thing that's often misconstrued. There is a relationship. I mean, I remember you mentioned the early days, the early 2000s when I coached UNCG. Roger Ayers coached in the SoCon, refed in the SoCon. The best in the business. And you develop a relationship. You can talk to him throughout the course of the game. You know, you can get upset. You can point something out. You can disagree. You can agree. But you know you're going to get the best from Roger Ayers. So I promise you, he didn't think anything of what happened in that game. Like, they were just messing with each other. Like I've known Roger Ayers for well over 20 years. I can say stuff to him. He'll laugh, tell me to shut up, whatever. But we work together. It's not like some random guy shows up to ref a game and you can't talk to him. You have a relationship with this guy. You see him frequently, and you hope that he shows up for your games.
And when it's not somebody that's that familiar, do you have to like rein it in, or is there some base level that you know, like, hey, all refs can take up to this level? Like how do you get there maybe with a guy you're less familiar with?
Well, if you're less familiar, you don't want to go to 0-100 right away. You know, I think that would be foolish. Sometimes we do. We just get upset. You know, it's a horrible call. You know, sometimes now what we do is you might complain, and then your assistant has an iPad. He's like, no, the guy was right. So I'll say,
years ago you didn't know that. You're like, you lived in your wrongness completely.
You just stayed with it, man.
Yeah,
But you know, I've told guys, It's funny that we had a game this year. I walked across the court because I said I'm going to look at it, and I walked across, and the guys thought I was going to go to rip his face off, and like, where you going? I said, nah. I said, I'm good. I said, hey, by the way, you were right. I thought I was.
Hey, little things like that.
Yeah.
Again, that's how the relationship is built.
Exactly.
We're talking with Fran McCaffrey, Penn men's basketball coach. Can you give us a little bit of a Illinois scouting report?
I'd rather not play them, if that's possible.
It's a good scouting report. That says a lot about the team.
You know what's interesting about them? They have a lot of different weapons. So you look at how hard it is to score on them because they're big and physical. But then they have a number of different weapons offensively. You got a guy like Stojakovic coming off the bench. Who has that? But you know what? They're really big, and that's why they're so good rebounding. Like when you have a 6'7" point guard, 6'9" small forwards, 7'2" bigs, and Merkovich is a freak of nature. And Boswell, you know, if the basketball thing doesn't work out, he'll be in the NFL. Okay? So they can beat you in a variety of different ways. Like, they don't have to make threes. They will, but if they're off a little bit, they can beat you throwing the ball inside. They can beat you in transition. They can beat you because they get every rebound and put it back in, and you can't score against them. So I like their chances.
I like them as well. Coach, we appreciate you for stopping by. This was fun.
Thanks for having me.
Once again, Fran McCaffrey stopping by our table here at Radio Row in Indianapolis ahead of the Final Four. You heard some pretty darn high praise for a few teams that are still playing, and one specific player on his team that started his career at Duke, TJ Power.
Who made our Dean's List, by the way, back when he had that big performance.
44 points to win a conference championship, a couple of like legit buzzer-beating shots. That ends up, you'll make the Dean's List every single time for that one. And Fran McCaffrey made it happen there. A few things here quickly. Text keyword music, MUSIC, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win tickets, a pair of tickets to see Turnpike Troubadours at Red Hat Amphitheater on October 10th. Once again, the keyword is music, and the number to text it to is 919-860-5326. Also, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. One thing you'll see me doing, right? We have these videos here from here in Indianapolis. I'm definitely watch spotting. When coaches sit down, I'm going, oh, let's see what he's working with. And it says something about him, right? It says something about him. When Ryan Odom was sitting down here, he had a little custom to his school Shinola, which you can find a Shinola at Bailey's Fine Jewelry Village District location. You know, if someone's wearing like a two-tone Rolex, maybe from a specific year, they probably won a championship in that year. It is a very, very, very interesting way to make a statement where, you know, you don't have to knock anybody over with it, right? It can be as if you know as you want it to be. And Bailey's Fine Jewelry can help you make whatever statement you want on your wrist, whether it's an Omega. A lot of people are into the moon right now. They got some cool stuff, rockets and everything, astronauts, Moonwatch, and the Omega Boutique. The Rolex, you can go to the Hamiltons. There's all kinds of different history in Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their luxury watches. Casute Original, Blanc Pond 50 Fathoms, the granddaddy of all dive watches. Check them out. Go to Bailey's, Village District location in Raleigh. Let them know when you're there. You heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll have maybe, not the biggest name, but maybe the most important coach that we talked to today because he is still coaching. We have an assistant coach from Illinois, Kevin Krueger, as his team gets ready for the Final Four. He stopped by earlier today, and you'll hear all of the insight into his team's Final Four path coming up next.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejected! Cameron Boozer got a piece! Get that out of there!
The deep looks from downtown.
McNeil walks up a three and connects left corner.
Did he just do that?
McNeil fires a three, got it far corner, falling down. It's a 2-point game.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9 The Fan. Driven by Fast Park and Relax, Chapel Hill Tire and Roof Works.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Hi, Greg Talbot with Strategic Tax Resolution. Tax enforcement and defense strategies have changed a lot over the last year. After nearly 5 years, the IRS has restarted automated collections. You could be next for bank levies and wage garnishments. Ignoring the issue is not an option. Call 984-272-2600 to get protected. Do you have unfiled returns or tax debt? We work directly with the IRS and states so you don't have to. Let us use our proven strategies and experience with the IRS and state to resolve your tax issue. Qualified clients have cut their tax debt by more than 90%. How would that feel? Act now to learn the latest updates to tax relief programs. Your eligibility may not be the same. Strategic Tax Resolution. Local, trusted, A+ rated by the BBB. Call 984-272-2600. Ask for me, Greg Talbot. 984-272-2600. You've got a guy on your side. StrategicTaxResolution.com. Get relief.
Think only current and former smokers get lung disease? Well, before you breathe a sigh of relief, WakeMed would like to remind you that even if you've never smoked in your life, secondhand smoke or environmental toxins can put you at risk. So go to wakemed.org and take our free online lung health assessment. It takes just a few minutes, and who knows, it could keep lung disease from taking your life.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, continuing here from Indianapolis for Radio Row at the Final Four. The Drive in Indy, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Kevin Krueger, assistant for one of the teams of honor here at the Final Four, Illinois, joining us now here on Radio Row. Before we talk about the run in the Final Four and everything, I have a bone to pick with you. I had made it one of my ACC traditions was make sure at the ACC tournament I caught Andrei Stojakovic. He was with Stanford. He was with Cal. I just really liked his game. He was one of the guys that I enjoyed watching. Now you took him away from us, and I haven't had the opportunity. So
now you get to get him at the Final Four,
which is nice. Don't get me wrong.
You still check that box, I guess, just a little different path.
Yes, but what does he bring to your team, right? He's a guy that we are familiar with from the ACC and obviously coming off the bench, but being effective for you guys.
Well, yeah, I think, Andre is, of course, an unbelievably talented player. He gives us an element that is needed, and as does everyone kind of individually throughout the roster. But his ability to get downhill, get to the foul line, make tough twos, make layups, I think is something that has really benefited this team without a doubt. Wouldn't be here without a guy like Andre. And he had some ups and downs. He had some injuries. He missed the entire fall, which as a transfer especially, really tough to kind of get back, get your footing back and get your timing down with your teammates. But came back and just worked relentlessly, and I think it's shown. He does. And part of the reason that we're at the Final Four, he doesn't care if he starts. It's not an issue. Never was, never has been. And he plays good minutes, and he plays hard, and he plays well. And certainly, I mean, in the Iowa game and the VCU game specifically in this tournament run, his ability to get to the rim, get downhill, make layups, draw fouls is undoubtedly why we were able to get a couple of those games.
Well, I'll lie to the other coaches when they come through, but you were actually in my Final Four on my bracket, and part of it was because they got this guy coming off the bench. They must be absolutely loaded, and you are, right? So let's start at the top with Keaton Wagler. You've been around basketball a long time. Where does he rank as far as freshmen that you've seen up close in person? I
think it'd have to be a 1 and a 1A with Trae Young. different.
Good company.
Yeah, good company. Different, but a lot of similarities in the sense of their ability to create their own shot, their ability to find shooters and make plays for others. I think Keaton maybe doesn't get as much attention on that as he could, because he's also a phenomenal rebounder. But just both their abilities to not only score but to make plays, get to the rim, finish. Definitely, I think they're definitely in the same discussion. Trey, of course, was extremely unique, leading the nation in scoring and assists, but at the same time, Keaton's also in a Final Four, and but it's certainly a lot of days. It was the most impressive thing I've seen for a freshman multiple times.
Kevin Krueger, Illinois assistant coach, joining us here in Indianapolis. Let me actually just give us a scouting report, right? The game that we're all watching is Saturday. You're taking on UConn. What stands out about UConn?
I think when you have a program like UConn and a coach like Coach Hurley, I think the first thing that you got to kind of recognize, pay attention to, is their DNA. And because we feel like we're a lot different than we were in November, and I'm sure that if you ask them, they would say that they feel they're different in a lot of ways, but at the same time, they do what they do, and they do it well. And they're extremely physical. They run unbelievably good offensive sets that are so hard to defend throughout 40 minutes, and they do it, and they impose their will on people, and I think that's as simple and easy as watered down version as that sounds. That's why they're here and why they've been here 3 of the last 4 years, and is because what Coach Hurley does with them and how they play, and they're going to compete. And just like we saw in the Duke game, they're never dead. They just fight, and they're just really, really good. So we know we got to do it. Take care of the ball, make some shots, and just talk and guard like crazy, because their DNA is what it is, and so we know we got a tough challenge in front of us.
Well, while I have you here, I was on your Wikipedia, making sure I knew the whole background before we chatted.
Should I preface this by saying Wikipedia is not always true?
It's not.
Okay, because I have no idea what it says, so this could get interesting.
Students out there, you should not do what I just did. But your old boss, TJ Otzelberger, at Iowa State, obviously his name popped up for some ACC openings, and very quickly he shut him down. Were you surprised by the way he kind of handled maybe those Carolina rumors, or the way he
honestly not? TJ is kind of almost like a throwback, in terms of I don't want to say stubborn, but he just kind of has that personality that. He probably didn't have to think long and hard about it. I mean, he is Iowa State through and through, and his wife having played there as well. I know they're having a great time up there and continuing to build on the success they've had in Ames. And so I think one of the coaches asked when it came open and saw his name if I thought, having known him, that TJ would go to Carolina, and I didn't at the time, because I just think he's having as much fun as you can possibly have as a coach in Ames, and I think he loves it up there, and they've obviously had a really good run.
Coach, we appreciate it, and good luck in the Final Four.
All right, thank you.
Once again, that is Illinois assistant coach Kevin Krueger making the rounds earlier today here at Radio Row in Indianapolis for the Final Four. And our entire stay here in Indianapolis is in part sponsored by Wrangler. Here's to the early risers, the go-getters. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles to kickstart your day. Wrangler for the ride of life. There you go. I feel dramatic. I feel like I should be playing Catch in the Mud.
You should be.
Slow motion in a commercial when I'm talking about Wrangler. But somehow the jeans don't get dirty.
I mean, a lot of farmland out here, obviously in the state of North Carolina is, but here out in Indiana especially as well.
Also very true.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Forbes said he drove in from
Iowa.
From Iowa, 6 hours. I'm like, that probably felt every hour the exact same, didn't it? Until you got to Indianapolis. And each hour is identical, isn't it?
Yep.
I've lived out in that Midwest part of the country. There's a lot of, you feel like you're on deja vu. Like, I just saw that windmill and that one, and over and over and over. But maybe that's why they do take their basketball so seriously in Indiana, because And not a lot else to do. Now I'm just making fun of our host. They've been a wonderful.
They've been tremendous. They
Indianapolis
really
has
have
been great. So I take back all the jokes. I'll wait till I'm back home safe in North Carolina to make them. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're continuing. We still have a whole other hour plus of the show. We're going to take you live right up to coverage of the Carolina Hurricanes game tonight as they host Columbus. But before we can do any of that, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. Folks, credit card interest rates, they're now over 29%, and most people are making the minimum payments, so they're barely getting anywhere. Really, most cases, you're getting nowhere. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull upfront, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-171, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll get to the starting five and some more conversations with college basketball coaches from across the country coming up.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Columbus.
Miller's coming in shorthanded. Miller back and he scores!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Nikishin got that bomb and he scores! Game over! Alexander Nikishin's first overtime game winner!
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
If you're exhausted, not just tired, but worn down, this message is for you. I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Across North Carolina, many people wait months, sometimes over a year, just to start sleep care. That wait isn't normal, and it isn't necessary. At Parkway, most patients are seen within weeks, with virtual consultations and home sleep studies that remove unnecessary delays. Sleep care shouldn't have to depend on how long you're willing to wait.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's the best time of the year for college basketball, and Buffalo Brothers is a slam dunk. Best place in the Triangle to watch all the big games. They always have great drink specials, and check this out. Every Monday, half-price wings all day. That's half-price wings all day Monday. Dine in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Check out any of their 5 Triangle locations or online at buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Richie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Richie Law is on top of it. Go to RichieLaw.com.
That's RichieLaw.com.
They score! The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Very mild this evening. 61 for the low under mostly clear skies. Friday, we're back in the mid-80s. It's partly cloudy with a very small chance for rain. Saturday, 86 degrees. Easter Sunday, 77 with a chance for rain and storms.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes down 61 points to 46,504. Market update brought to you by Range Fest, presented by Capital Range and Firearms at the range at True North in Oxford on Saturday, April 11th. Experience a day of shooting activities for all skill levels, live music, games, and delicious food. Tickets at rangefest.com. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is live from Indianapolis for the Radio Row edition of our Final Four previews. The Drive in Indianapolis is all thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. As always, our starting five here at this time of day starts with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Number 5 for today is actually a guest. We have the Yale head men's basketball coach, James Jones, joining us here at Radio Row. Coach, thank you very much for the time.
Appreciate it, Tim.
You're here with Coaches for Cancer. We will pass along some information towards the end of our conversation. But first, the NABC is going on. You are one of the longest tenured coaches, especially at your current university. So what's the buzz? What are the debates happening when the coaches get together and shut the door and don't let us media types in there?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. I'm also an NABC board member, and we met with Charlie Baker, the head of the NCAA, and we had a board meeting this morning. And there's a head coaches meeting tomorrow. So there's a lot of things going on, trying to figure out how we're going to handle NIL and the transfer portal and the changes that need to be made to improve the game. If we're going to expand the tournament or not. So there are a bunch of things going on, and other than that, there are a lot of coaches that are trying to enjoy themselves and spend some time together and have some downtime and not worry about the pressures of winning a game themselves.
How difficult is it the portal opens up in 5 days, and you're in there talking about what it should be or could be or will be. Is it difficult to navigate?
Well, it's all difficult to navigate because no one really knows what's going on with it, right? It changes like every year, and the monies that's involved change every year, and it's just very difficult. That's not what most of the coaches got into when they first started, but it is what it is right now, and we have to try to figure out the best job we can do with our teams to make the best rosters that we can.
Now, you're in, I would say, a unique league, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the Ivy, you've been there since 1999, so it's or been the head coach since 1999. Let me correct myself. What kind of ways has that league changed? Because sometimes I do think the Ivy is almost in a bubble, and it kind of maybe stays the same while some of the other conferences change a whole bunch.
Yeah, we don't change that much in terms of, what's going on right now and what was going on back in 1999. The league's a lot better in terms of the level of player. Like, we have 3 players that are in the NBA right now. That's something that no one would probably know that's listening to my voice right now. But we do, and the level of talent is really good. But in terms of how we do, we're non-scholarship. We don't give money for NIL. We don't have revenue sharing. So we have we have student athletes and amateurs, so to speak, and we're the last of a dying breed.
Do you get positive reception to that pitch, right? When so many others are able to offer money and you are offering a world-class education, but it is, we've heard from a lot of coaches that certain athletes are just going bottom dollar hunting.
Yeah, I think that what has to come into play for us, that it has to be family decisions. When families make decisions, there's always going to be a certain number of people that value what we have to offer. Now, the best basketball players in the country aren't usually in that group, and they can't usually all of them can't usually get into our institutions. So what's changed for us is that it used to be, I thought, maybe 8 kids a year came into the league that impact or were able to impact winning. Now it's probably 4 a year, and I just have to get those 4.
That's a good pitch right there. I'm in. As a longtime coach, one thing that we've been talking about off and on with the coaches this week is how to work refs, right? Just because it's right in the spotlight right now with Dan Hurley and Roger Ayers and four heads tapping or whatever you want to call it. How is there a strategy there? Are you consciously trying to build those relationships, or working in, so like, hey, I know when I really need a call, I can go to this. Like, is there an art?
Yeah, there certainly is an art to it. And for me, if you ever watch a Yale basketball game, I'm fairly calm. Mm-hmm. You don't ever really see me yelling at my players. That happens somewhere else, not during the game. I feel that if we're not prepared to win a game by the time the game starts, we're probably not going to win it. So all our preparation happens before the game. And with the officials, not that I try to kill them with kindness, but I try to be respectful and talk to them in a way that it's man-to-man so they understand what I'm talking about. I don't talk down to them for the most part. Now, James Jones will spike from time to time. And in those spikes, it's like, well, when I do, they're like, okay, there must be something wrong. I might have screwed something up there if Coach Jones is acting that way. So I like to have that demeanor so when I do act out of character, they realize that maybe I screwed something up.
Coach is here. Coach James Jones from Yale, again, is here representing Coaches for Cancer. 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, which is why awareness and early detection matters. Get screened. Early detection saves lives. Visit coachesvscancer.org to learn more and to support the American Cancer Society. Coach, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Once again, that is James Jones, Yale head men's basketball coach. Seriously, get screened. Check it out. Coachesvscancer.org. Coaches vs. Cancer has raised over $196 million to support the American Cancer Society's work in research, patient support, and advocacy. Coaches vs. Cancer. And many of the coaches that make their way around Radio Row are in some kind of partnership with some kind of partnership with Coaches for Cancer. That was in the starting 5, number 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Drivers, start your engines.
That's right. Number 4, we are in Indianapolis. We are live on the scene where the Final Four will be taking place this weekend. And, every city has their own fingerprint, right? Their own identity. Indianapolis is no different. But they, in addition to Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Indy 500 and being a Midwestern town and all of these other things, they care about their basketball. And it is coming through, right? It is very much a respect thing from somebody that I believe hosts a sports show in the mecca of college basketball, the epicenter. There's a very much respect. They are treating it with the proper importance, hosting the Final Four here. And that goes for the entire city. You walk around and you're not going to go more than 10 or 12 steps before you see something that reminds you that the Final Four is in this location.
It kind of, in a sense, it reminds me of when Greensboro has either an NCAA tournament, like a regional site, first, second round games, or obviously the ACC tournament. When they have it, just the way they embrace it, this city 100% embraces it. I love the fact that, if I get the impression that pretty much once every 4 years, the Final Four will be here in Indy, which makes sense because of the proximity of Lucas Oil Stadium to where we are downtown with the convention center and ABC, like everything. The proximity is so tight, which helps a bunch as well. But man, they embrace it. I love it. The atmosphere around here, when we literally walked off the plane, you can get a sense of this is big time.
And not only that, with the NABC, the National Association of Basketball Coaches convention going on, all of the coaches are here, and it's why I led the conversation with James Jones just then with, like, what are the coaches talking about?
Yeah.
You start, like, events like this are where the future of college basketball is being shaped. And that with that energy, right, there's ideas being passed around and sometimes you don't even have to ask a question that explicitly. You just get a basketball coach that's comfortable talking, someone like Steve Forbes, going, and it's almost like whatever naturally comes up in conversation, it's like, oh, that must be what they're talking about over there.
Yep.
Right? Okay, I see what's going on. And obviously with the portal opening up in just a few days, that is the maybe the funniest part is all the coaches go into a room. They have their conventions, different topics, different seminars, different groups, but then you see them in the hallway, and they all have in their AirPods, and they're all pacing around, and you just know they're talking to somebody about the future of their program, a player,
agents,
maybe one of their current players that they're working on retaining, or an assistant coach who's thinking of taking an opportunity. I don't know what the conversations are, but they all get together. They have their little good time. They're coaches. They talk about the future. All right, break. They all have to go run and make calls because the portal opens up in 5 days.
This is an interesting place to here. I think about this that you mentioned that. It's popped in my head. This is obviously where the NFL Combine takes place at Lucas Oil Stadium, literally like 2 blocks from where we're sitting.
We wouldn't have to walk outside.
If I'm an agent of college players, I'd be here.
Yeah,
I would 100% be here because you see agents of NFL players are at these.
Yep.
Yeah, at the NFL Combine. If I'm an agent of a college player or players, I'd be here. I'd be making deals and stuff right now for my players.
If it is very much similar to the Combine in that if you want to work in college basketball, even if you don't have the job, it's probably a good place to just be at, find the nicest steakhouse around here and just be there.
St. Elmo.
Be at St. Elmo's and just be at the bar having a drink in your hand and see who you don't bump into, read the polo on their shirt and go, oh, you work for XYZ school. Interesting. I have a friend of a friend of a friend who should hopefully exist that I can talk to you about. Because, networking is what networking is.
Yeah.
This is really, really fun. Shout out to Westwood One for helping us get everything set up. And shout out to the NCAA and the NABC and everybody for making it what it is. That is number 4. Let's hit number 3. Lenovo. Excellent transition from Max Gorin back at the studio.
Well done, Max.
The Lenovo Center, home of the Carolina Hurricanes, who will be playing at home tonight against Columbus.
Yeah.
In conjunction with the Centennial Authority and the Canes and NC State University, obviously play their college basketball there, has released additional renderings for the ongoing enhancement project, which is a fancy way to say for all of the money they're going to spend on making that building cooler, nicer, and better. And I have to say, Dennis, the renderings
look nice.
I mean, part arena, part spaceship.
It's fitting.
It looks like money well spent, or at least I can see why it would cost as much as the estimates say it's going to cost.
So looking at the renderings that are out there, the Carolina Hurricanes put it out on social media. You can check it out on WRL.com.
Walt Rupp tweeted it out, team reporter.
So yeah, all of this stuff's out there. And I think the thing that I notice is that you're seeing more wider areas in the concourse, so it's easier to move around, different spaces where you can congregate. So there's
a little less claustrophobic.
Yeah, so it's easier to move around, more free flowing. I kind of, for example, the view bar that's already up there on the 3rd floor, just walking around up there, it's like, oh, I can easily congregate down here during intermissions of the game, grab a drink and stuff, and not just feel like, all right, I'm kind of bottlenecked into some areas. I think people are going to really appreciate that when these things start to open up in terms of space a little bit more. That's what I think people are really going to like.
And they just look cool.
It just look awesome. Yeah, they really do.
There's something to be said for, like, if you're out tailgating or you're on the plaza, we're doing a show out there, you snap the selfie outside the arena, it's just going to look cooler. But I give this warning every time. Renderings are just renderings.
Yeah.
They are not buildings.
They're just pictures.
I like to tell recruits, if any school is showing you renderings of what, like, the weight room is going to look like, what the player facility is going to look like, well, if you're only on campus for 4 years, how realistic is that it's going to be there in that same form? Usually they end up looking more normal by the end. But if you get excited by renderings, go check them out. There's a press release. It's all over social media. They do look very, very cool.
It's awesome.
I've also seen renderings for the Commanders' new stadium. It looks like it's going to be like part the Capitol building. Like, they have the big white pillars. Like, it looks awesome. I will believe it when I see it actually being built.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation for another day, because we have to get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
jump shot it, rebounded by Evans. He'll lob it. Oh! Caleb Wilson. There's a Caleb Wilson dunk. Injury robbed us of more of those. And perhaps robbed Hubert. We didn't even talked about that.
Yeah.
If Caleb Wilson just stays healthy, maybe Hubert Davis is still the coach and Carolina isn't coachless at the moment. But ifs and buts and shoulda, woulda, couldas, they're not worth anything. So we have to talk in reality. And Hubert Davis is not the coach of Carolina. And it's been over a week since he was removed of his duties. And that means it's been over a week where Carolina has not had a head coach. I have two quotes here that I'm going to read for you. One from each of the two teams that'll be playing Saturday night in the Final Four, which would be Arizona and Michigan. We'll start with Tommy Lloyd. And both of these quotes come courtesy of the Field of 68. Tommy Lloyd was asked about the UNC job opening. And in part, right, this is not the entirety of the quote. You can go look up the full video at the press conference. He said, "I've got my full focus on this team. Nothing is distracting me. I'm 100% locked in on Arizona basketball right now. This team deserves my full attention, so that's what I'm giving them." I would like everybody to point out that that is not a no. Now, the next quote I'll read for you. It's Dusty May, Michigan's head coach, asked again, Field of 68, this is from John Goodman, about the Carolina coaching rumors. His response, "I'm not going to comment on any job that's not mine. I'm incredibly happy, honored, and blessed to be the coach of Michigan in the Final Four." I would like to point out again, that is not a no. I am getting more and more and more the gut feeling that Tommy Lloyd is the number one option for Carolina.
Yeah.
And that Carolina is almost excited to make the splash that Tommy Lloyd is.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, it's not just the splash of taking, like, The Athletic put out a list where they pulled 51 current head and assistant coaches across college basketball.
Mhm.
What is the best job out, like not available? What is the best job in college basketball? And Duke was one, and a tie for two was Kentucky and Carolina.
Okay.
6 was Arizona. So it is a flex of a top 3 team to take the number 6. Like, that is a flex. But also pay $5 million and change for Hubert Davis to leave. Play $8-9 million, whatever it is, for Tommy Lloyd's buyout, and still have enough to field a top value roster in college basketball. That to me is Carolina. I don't want to say redoing their priorities, but showing everybody, hey, just because we spend a little bit of money on Bill Belichick, we're still a big dog. You still should fear our resources in the college basketball world. We still have this guy named Jordan that lets us put his silhouette on all of our gear. We still have a pretty darn significant history. It would be a statement made across not just like the ACC, but the entire country that Carolina is you should hear the footsteps.
You're distracted, Tim. I'm not distracted. You're distracted. They're big game hunting because, let's be honest, there's only 4 coaches that are still coaching right now. If the coach that they wanted was available, that person would be hired. Like, if they truly wanted was actually available right now in terms of their team, I mean, I'll throw in like Billy Donovan if you want to throw that in there as well. But if you really think about it, if they wanted to hire someone else from a power conference school or someone that's been crushing it at a mid-major and they want to elevate, that would already have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Otzelberger at Iowa State, if they really wanted him, if he was their number one guy,
if they were going to truly Godfather offer him and say, I understand your wife is in the Iowa State Hall of Fame, here's whatever amount of money would make you forget about that.
Already would have been done.
Yep.
Already would have been done. So yeah, they're big game hunting, and Tommy Lloyd is that big game.
And Tommy Lloyd is the big game, and then maybe Billy Donovan is your second option, and then maybe Dusty May is your third option.
Yep.
Suddenly, perhaps they're more willing to wait and say, if we strike out on one, we have 2 more chances at guys that we like.
Yeah.
Which it would make me more comfortable if I'm Carolina, knowing I have 3 swings at it, rather than waiting for one guy, knowing that if he just has a change of heart and says, no, I want to stay, you're now left holding some kind of an empty bag. So there's a lot there. I just want to point out that both Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd have been asked, and neither have said no, right? Neither have said, I'm not taking that job. I'm here to stay. I also want to point this out, and this will be the last point we make here right now on it. it could be just a dedication to getting the most money from your own school, right? I'm never going to say no about Carolina, because then why would Arizona give me $3 million more per year?
Yeah.
Right. I'm never going to say no, because then why would Michigan go ask Chris Webber for more money? I don't know who they ask. I guess it's the Oracle guy. The Oracle guy is the one that Ellison.
That's a different conversation.
But my point is, slamming the door on opportunities takes leverage from you in a negotiation. It would be kind of crazy to be coaching in the Final Four and also building up your leverage as if you don't already have it. But if you just want to use Carolina to cash in, you wouldn't be out there championing a loud, no, I'm not taking Carolina as your move. You would be saying, well, I love it here, but I don't talk about other jobs, and I'm not distracted, you're distracted, just to keep it open enough that when you go to your AD, you can say, listen, it's $2 million more, I'm taking that one. $3 million more, I'm taking that one. It's real money they're talking about. $1 million here, $1 million there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money.
Yeah.
That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The one! Ehlers, he'll turn with it. Ehlers lets the shot go. He scores! Oh, what a brilliant play! Nikolai Ehlers danced inside the blue line and then fired the shot through Greaves, and it's 3-2 Carolina.
The Carolina Hurricanes host the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight, 7 o'clock puck drop, 6:30 Storm Watch here on 99.9 The Fan. We will take you live with this show all the way up until we pass it off to Adam Gold for Storm Watch. This is I would say, a unique game for Carolina. Not that it's tremendously unique that you play a team in back-to-back games, right? They played at Columbus on Tuesday. Both teams travel here. Thursday, they're playing again. But there was a little chippiness, if you will, in the Tuesday game. Mm-hmm. Some conversation from Zach Werenski about a possible of Columbus about a possible dirty play by Sebastian Aho. Dennis, if you're Rod Brindamore, are you suiting up Zach Delorier tonight?
Nick Delorier?
Nick Delorier,
no, I don't need to suit up Nick Delorier tonight because I got him teaching Alexander Nikishin what he's got to do on the ice in case he's got to drop.
That was after practice yesterday, by the way.
That was. No, I wouldn't worry about that tonight because there's too much at stake for both these teams in the sense of Columbus is fighting for a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. Like, they are in a dogfight for it. So now's not the time to go. Like, if it's game 32 on a Tuesday night up in Columbus, sure, go for it. But not when you're less than 10 games left. So they're fighting for their playoff lives. They can't afford to have any, be buffoons. Carolina, if they win tonight in any way, shape, or form, they clinch a playoff spot.
It's like that time of year.
It's that time of year. Like, Carolina actually, with a win, any way, shape, or form, clinches a playoff spot tonight. And that's got to be their focus. Guys, we earn a playoff spot tonight if we win. Go win the game.
Also, with one game, they are tied at 100 points with Buffalo, top the Eastern Conference. And Tampa Bay hot on their heels with 98. And then they both, Carolina and Tampa Bay, have played 74 games. Buffalo has played 75.
Games in hand, baby. Let's go.
So there you go. Montreal has 96 points. They've played 74 games.
They're so good.
So there are quite a few teams that still believe they have that top Eastern Conference seed within their grasp. So you're right. There's a lot on the line. There's a ton on the line for both teams. Dennis, I'll put you on the spot, as I often do. If blank happens, then Carolina gets the dub and they get the win against Columbus and they're up to 102 points and they clinch the postseason and all of those good things happen.
If they score twice 5-on-5.
The 5-on-5 conversation is becoming interesting.
Yeah.
Because when you are nearly 50% on power play, 5-on-5 issues don't seem as dire because you're getting goals other ways.
Actually, I'm going to go a little bit more specific, actually. I'm going to change mine a little bit. If the top line of Aho, Jarvis, Svetch gets a 5-on-5 goal, Canes win today. Because most of their points have been coming on the power play.
I was going to say, that's a very similar conversation that I just to the one we just had, where it's like that top line, you're still getting production, so you're not noticing that they really aren't doing much as a traditional top line. But, side note, I do think they're getting the more difficult assignments more often. It seems like the stall line isn't being thrown out there as often against the opposing team's most dynamic lines and grinding them. I think they're using the Aho line a bit more as a two-way line, which they have the ability to.
Aho and Jarvis are top 10 Selke vote getters.
And
yeah,
not out like that's not an outlier. Like they are
No, like
that's
yeah.
good. Yes, I'm with you on that. So just another thing to think about when you're thinking of the Carolina Hurricanes tonight versus Columbus. And yes, you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. We haven't talked a lot about it simply because we're here in Indianapolis where the Final Four is going on, but we're thinking about it quite a bit. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. You get to a building like this, you start looking around how gigantic the rooms are, and you go, this must cost $1 billion to air condition and heat. Well, guess what? We take it for granted in our world. Air conditioning, heating, plumbing, electric being dependable, that kind of stuff is important, and Manor Service Company takes care of it in your house. That's heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. It is a great time to start thinking about cooling maintenance before it gets too hot. Get them out there looking at your cooling system. So Manor Service Company, service you can trust. Give them a call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at ManorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. We'll be back with more from here in Indianapolis. Actually, Dennis is pointing at me.
Yeah, we have High Point head coach Flynn Clayman is going to be joining us here in just a minute.
All right, perfect. Flynn Clayman will be joining us in just a couple minutes.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Columbus.
Miller's coming in shorthanded. Miller back and he scores!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Nikishin got that bomb and he scores! Game over! Alexander Nikishin's first overtime game winner!
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Sound Station and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Sound Station and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Sound Station and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Sound Station and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
What is it, boy? Someone need help? Someone in trouble? Oh, okay. So you just want me to get Progressive Auto Insurance because their collision coverage covers up to $1,000 in vet bills if you're injured in an accident? That's it? Okay. Calm down. Let's not resort to name calling.
Progressive's collision coverage helps pay for care for your pet when they're in the car during an accident.
No, you're right. Sorry. I shouldn't have said calm down.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage included with purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom! And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan from live in Indianapolis, the location for the Final Four and Final Four Radio Row for our intents and purposes, today and tomorrow. The drive in Indianapolis is all thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. And also, here in Indianapolis, you can't be in Indianapolis for the Final Four without talking about, if you're watching online on YouTube, what Dennis is bringing up here. This is the official ladder. We are sponsored this week by Warner, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness, and the official ladder of construction professionals everywhere. Conquer new heights with Warner, available locally at Associated Scaffolding. Dennis was up there mock cutting down nets. Celebrating victories, which has to be one of the cooler feelings in basketball. I would almost be more excited to cut down the nets than for like a trophy scenario or getting a ring, right? You get that little chopped up piece of string. That's the coolest thing out there. So shout out to Warner Ladder, and we are obviously very appreciative of their support. With it being this week in this location, for this tournament and this Final Four, you do really catch what I've been pointing out for a long time. You catch the fact that college basketball's magic has gone nowhere. Okay, I know that everybody is nostalgic for what was, and the rule changes rub some people the wrong way, and players are making millions, and the NIL, the transfer portal. I'm telling you, whether, I hope everyone, if you want to, is able to make it to a Final Four at some point in time, because it really is that cool. But when you're in the building and you see all the people that are working in this particular industry, and it is a big one, the magic has not been lost, right? The Cinderellas, we've talked with, I don't even know if there's Cinderellas, but we've talked with the mid-major programs that won games, right? We've talked with VCU's head coach, Phil Martelli. We're getting ready to talk with Flynn Clayman, the head coach of High Point, who upset Wisconsin. And they still walk around this room, walk around this building with a little extra pep in their step, knowing that they are, they're the ones that were the darlings of the first weekend. And there's no amount of NIL or transfer portal that can take away that feeling. So I'm rejuvenated in my interest in college basketball after this week. And speaking of a team that pulled off an upset in the NCAA tournament, Flynn Clayman, head coach, High Point, sits down with us right now, ready to jump in and talk some hoops. Coach, first of all, thank you for making your way over to our table here. It's the craziest stat of the tournament. Chase Johnston had no 2-point buckets all year, and it's not like he's a bench warmer, right? It's not like you had 10 guys get hurt and you had to go to somebody that didn't play. He had no 2-point baskets all year, 70-something threes, and then he seals the win against Wisconsin with, of course, a 2-point bucket. What is your thought process when you see him streaking down the court and you recognize, all right, our guy that doesn't take twos is about to have our entire season on the line on a 2-point bucket?
Yeah, so it really felt like a movie situation where the time slowed down. Like I'm not joking. Like I saw Rob get the rebound, and I saw Chase had the fast break, and I saw the ball. I mean, it all slowed down, and I literally had time to think, oh man, he's gonna smoke this layup because he hasn't made one all year, and he put it right through the net because he's clutch. I was legitimately scared for a second, like, oh, is he gonna just like stop and pop this three?
Hey, transition three, Timo Cruz.
Oh man, it was a time slow down moment, and I'm just glad it slowed down for him too, and he made it.
How about for the confidence from his teammate, though? You brought up Rob getting the rebound, and I don't know. There's a world where you look and you go, oh, if that was anyone but Chase, I would have thrown this outlet pass. But instead, he let it fly. Like what does it say about the confidence he had in it?
I mean, that play was something that we talked about a lot with Rob throughout the season. We try to get rebounds for our small guys right around that free throw line area. They do that a lot in the NBA. And early in the season, that wasn't a habit that he had. And we kept stressing that on our smaller guards that weren't, going to be able to rebound by sheer size. Just clean up stuff at the nail, and the nail's right in the middle of the free throw line. And so for that to be where he got that rebound, that was something that we had been preparing for a long time. And then for him to execute that in that moment, it was just special.
Flynn Clayman, High Point head coach, joining us here in Indianapolis on Radio Row ahead of the Final Four this weekend. First year as a non-interim tagged head coach at any location, right? Or at least at any college basketball location.
Any location.
Any location. All right. I didn't know if you had like the JV high school or something.
Hey,
or you were in Australia
like,
for a little bit.
Yeah.
What'd you think? How'd it go being the head guy where everything kind of the buck stops with you?
Yeah, at first it was a lot. Like I was, quite frankly, it was just nerves. And for like nights where you can't sleep, and you're just like, am I checking every box that I need to check? I did a great job hiring really good staff that helped me. They like experienced guys, multiple guys who've been head coaches. That was something that I need to make sure I did. Guys that I trusted. I had to lean on them a lot of tough times. We started off the season it was fine, but it wasn't like what everybody expected, and I was getting nervous about things. And my staff had my back on stuff, so that was the key to making it work this first year.
There seems to be a lot of coaches kind of, obviously the carousel turns quickly, but a lot of first-time head coaches, and I say it because it like almost in theory makes sense. Like you need to have somebody with head coaching experience on your staff if you've never done it before. What things did you go to your head coach experienced assistants for? Was it, timeouts? Was it working the refs? Like what tangible things did you go to them for?
Yeah, so some of it was in-game things that you think you would be ready to execute, but when you're in that moment for the first time, things slip your mind. So like Ben Fletcher was the interim head coach at South Florida last year when the tragedy happened with Amir Abdur-Rahim, and so he did that the whole year. He was one of my college coaches. He was an assistant coach at Troy when I was there, but he was getting me with in-game stuff that I would miss, and then the most important thing would just be like little things like, oh, you're going a little too far with this, or we're not doing quite enough, or how to handle little situations just in the office, all those things that you don't really think about. When you're an assistant, you're thinking about basketball, you're thinking about players, you're thinking about player development, you're thinking about game plan, recruiting. You're not thinking about all of these other things that go into a program, and that's where they help me.
We're talking with Flynn Clayman, head coach of High Point, fresh off their win in the NCAA tournament over Wisconsin. Obviously, a win in the tournament puts you, sports are the front porch of your university, right? And everybody's talking about High Point. Did you have them in your bracket? Did you not? Were you aware that the like CEO networking side of High Point was going to go so viral? I saw it all over my timeline that you have a mock airplane somewhere on campus, so students can. I'm not joking about this.
We do.
You can learn how to, like, if you're accidentally or have by chance sat next to a CEO, how you can turn that into an advantage. Like, I don't know. Were you aware that would catch such fire?
Yeah, I mean, so the airplane thing's in a Starbucks. We have Starbucks on campus, and then they built a little airplane with seats. It's like 4 rows of an airplane with like fake windows over there, and then it has guidelines on how to talk to people, what sort of things, and that's all of High Point. So when it's saying life skills, it's like those kind of things they're trying to teach people. Last year, we got a ton of exposure just by making the tournament for the first time. So I didn't I would say I was more surprised that first time around because we got more attention.
So now like that's something that goes viral.
When we saw that, then it was like, oh, if we win a game, then this is really going to be something, and it played out exactly like that. So I wasn't too I think I was surprised at the amount. It was just, it's so much more than when you win a game like that. Yeah. And then the thing that probably got it the most was we were the first games, first round of games, and then there weren't many big upsets. There were some good ones like VCU, a couple like St. Louis, but they weren't really like upsets, So like we were like the one kind of upset that kept the story.
So if that's like High Point's thing, right? The networking, making sure everybody's ready. Are you getting like NBA coaching lessons? Like, hey, if an NBA coach wants to work you out, here's what you do. Like the networking side of it just seems like it's a cool niche for High Point to have, in that like they don't just teach you the skills, they teach you the skills, right? That everybody's always talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of students at High Point that are going to be like NBA GMs and presidents, and like, because
you're networking.
Well, like I'm just saying, like we have the president of the Orlando Magic. He's a teacher in residence. His son goes to our school. He comes and works directly with our sports marketing students. We have the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, St. Marshall. She's a teacher in residence. She's there multiple times a year. These kids have her email or cell phone. Like these are real things happening at High Point. So we have like a ton of students that go straight from High Point to work for the Mavericks, work for the Magic. Those are real things. The other sports too. So it's a real thing at High Point. That they're going above and beyond in sports and every other field.
Coach, congratulations on a great season and a big win.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Once again, that's Flynn Clayman, the head coach of High Point men's basketball. Like I said, the upset over Wisconsin. I've never probably learned more about a unique niche for a school than I did about High Point. And I knew a lot about High Point. I have friends that went to High Point, but the mock airplane and everything. It was all over my timeline. I could not escape it. And that's what happens when you win, right? That's what happens when you're one of the darlings of the tournament, is suddenly everybody has questions about your school. Everybody wants to highlight the cool things about your school. And, it leads to the business side of sports, which is, more applicants, more entry fees, all of those things. That's why so many schools spend so much money on making sure that their basketball teams are pretty darn good, or football, or whatever. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There we go. We're going to talk with Ryan Odom again. Not really talk to him again, but earlier today we did talk with Ryan Odom, the head coach of UVA, who, by the way, was born in the Triangle, graduated high school in Winston-Salem. So even if he's doing really good things in the ACC for Virginia, it's somehow the Triangle continuing to dominate the ACC. Ryan Odom, that conversation from earlier today, right after this.
Listen for the "Did he just do that?"
Cameron Boozer, put it off the window! Count it in a foul!
Listen for the "Get that out of here's."
Gamba blocked it. What a rejection.
Oh my goodness.
The lob! Brown hangs from the rim, and the lead grows to 22.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan. Driven by Strategic Tax Resolution, Wake Med, Fairway Green, and Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
This is Ray Womble Jr. from J.E. Womble & Sons in Lillington. Spring is here and lawn mowing will be in full force. Our new lineup of Bobcat zero-turn mowers are bringing tough to turf. Built to give you a professional edge, engineered to last longer and work harder. Come check out the Bobcat ZT2000 series at a discount of $1,200 with 0% financing. And remember, if J.E. Womble & Sons doesn't have it, you don't need it.
This April, the party's in Cary as Abbey Road Tavern and Grill Cary celebrates 30 years of great food, drinks, and unforgettable nights. The 3-day anniversary bash starts Friday night, April 10th, with live music and beer reps handing out freebies. Saturday the 11th is an all-day outdoor party with local bands and a draft truck pouring cold ones. Wrap it up on Sunday the 12th with a hangover party featuring Totally Otis and killer drink specials all weekend long. All happening at Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary. Details at abbeyroadnc.com.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Continuing from Indianapolis, the drive in Indianapolis is all thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's top 10 best sports bars. Joining us here at our booth on Radio Row is the head coach of Virginia, Ryan Odom. We should say, born in Durham. Raised in Durham.
Watts Hospital.
Does
it exist now? I don't think it exists anymore, does it?
I assume every hospital near Durham has Duke in the name somehow. Now it's kind of how I
it's called Watts.
High school, Winston-Salem. So there's all kinds of ties to North Carolina. We'll claim you even though you're in Virginia. Speaking of, you're in Virginia. First year in the ACC, the turnaround from under 500 to second best team. as somebody that covers a couple teams with new coaches this upcoming year, we'll keep it simple and just say, how'd you do it?
Yeah, I think the character of these kids, that was the first thing that we, in looking back at it, after we first got there, and I've been fortunate. I've had a couple of different jobs over the years, and it's changed every time. It gets progressively worse with the transfer portal in terms of guys that you're going to lose when you take over a new job. And we lost the entire roster, and so we had to put a whole new team together. And one of the things that we looked for when we first went out there got after it was just the character of the kids. We wanted to make sure we brought in kids that fit Virginia and fit our staff, that care about winning, that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And we really feel like we had a home run with the guys that we brought in. And they really did a good job of connecting, with one another, because they were all coming from different places, some from lower levels to high levels, some, from the same level across. And then we had some high school guys, as well. And they just mixed really well together. They worked hard every day on the court, and they continued to improve the entire season.
One of the interesting additions that you mentioned, DeRitter.
Yeah, DeRitter.
And I've mispronounced his first name too many times.
Tess
DeRitter. 23-year-old freshman.
Yeah, he's not a freshman. We laugh at that, but he is, but he's not. Yeah.
Exactly. So, how do you deal with that? Because, freshmen got to carry bags and stuff. When you're 23 years old, you're not carrying the bags, right?
He did. He helps. He did his part, no different than anybody else. And so times have changed, It's not like the old days when I played for Coach Shaver at Hampton Sydney. Times have changed. It's a lot different. And, he wasn't the only one around the country that came in for his first year. When we recruited him and signed him, we weren't quite sure how many years he would actually get. And for him to be able to get 2 years, is really, we're really thankful for that. No question.
So how do you plan a roster when you're signing guys and you don't even know how many years they'll have?
Yeah, I mean, his was a little bit different. If we got one, we were going to be excited about that. And obviously, it turned out that way. He was first team all ACC. We felt like he would be a really good player for us. But you never know when you go out and recruit until you begin to coach them, and you're in the gym with them and you're around them outside of the gym as well in terms of their character off the court. You never really know. And so sometimes you hit it and sometimes you don't. But, this particular group did a great job of really trying to get from the experience at the University of Virginia.
We're talking with Ryan Odom, head coach of Virginia here in Indianapolis, Radio Row at the Final Four. Speaking of ties to the area, what did Pop say about your ACC introduction? Obviously, a guy that we all know from Wake Forest.
He loved it. And he loved it.
Durham High School and on and on.
My mom loved it. They were so pleased. They had 7 great years in Charlottesville, Virginia, when he was an assistant coach to Terry Holland, and so to have the opportunity to reconnect, with all the former players, Ralph Sampson, Rick Carlisle, who's right here in this town. Rick finished Game 7 last year and was in our practice 2 days later. And so It's been really cool, to reconnect. Jeff Jones, Ricky Stokes, I mean, you name it. Junior Burrow, Corey Alexander, Curtis Staples. I mean, all these guys that care so much about UVA. And, to be the current leader of the program is really special. And my parents have been able to reconnect with old friends that were there. Coach Holland's wife, comes to practice and, lives in Charlottesville. So, it's really special.
Is that a lot of people telling you hey, slow it down or speed it up, this guy needs more touches? I
get a lot of advice. We all do. All coaches get advice. You just have to, take it from the right people.
It's very true. But the ACC, right, as we talk about it and as your dad experienced, there felt like there were 7 guys that were there forever, right? It was the same kind of
coaches you're talking about,
coaches, and just figures, right? They were almost like pillars. With the amount of change that's going on right now, and things like a Carolina job just being open now for over a week, is there some ACC coaches group chat where you guys are going what's going on here?
No, we do have a group chat, but not about that. It's more about rules, Ed, and stuff like that. But we all try to support one another. We just added a member to our staff named Adrian Autry. Red Autry, who was the head coach of Syracuse, and he and I worked together at Virginia Tech years ago under Seth Greenberg. And so I'm really excited that he's joining our staff, and he's going to do a great job, for us. But, you hate to see the turnover. You really do. And everybody has to make their own decisions about how they want to lead their program. But, it really is a volatile time in our profession. And you worry more about the assistant coaches probably than the head coaches because when things like that happen, it sends a shockwave through their families. And, the head coaches usually have contracts that, protect them a little bit, but the assistant coaches, it's really tough on them and their families.
You bring up your time at Virginia Tech. I joke that it's pretty impressive. You've turned all of Virginia onto your side after the UMBC situation, yeah. But it might be more impressive that you spent almost a decade in Virginia Tech's coaching room and you have Virginia all rallying around you. So kudos to you on that one.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're 5 days away from the portal. What are those conversations like? Are agents already making the moves? Like, how does that all work?
Yeah, I think it's we're all talking to agents and trying to figure out kind of where things are at. And, what happens is you wait and see who goes in the portal. You're trying to target guys that match your program and fit, the spot that you're trying to fill. The most important thing for us at Virginia is retention, and certainly – it doesn't end there. We want to retain, all of our players, that played for us last year that can come back. And so we're working through that process now to make sure it's right for them and right for us as well. And then we'll begin, once Monday hits or Tuesday, whatever it is, and then we'll get on, with some other guys as well.
How do you judge that? Like if you're getting someone out of the portal and they have more than 1 year of eligibility, how do you judge if they're just loyal's the wrong word because I don't want to act like you're disloyal to go back in the portal the next year. But if it's all about retention, is there a way you can tell if somebody is making the decision for 3 years or one?
It goes back to the character, right? You want to try to evaluate that first. How do you evaluate that? It's not asking them, are you a good guy? You have to, you have to work around it and get,
if they don't answer
different opinions, from others that have coached them over the years. And I think that's a part of it. Their parents and their family, and like really just diving into what's important to them. Like, do you really want to win? Do you want to win at the highest level, or your academics important to you? Do you want to be a part of an organization that's going to challenge you and get you to do hard things, or do you want it easy? And I think when you really dive in that way and try to get to the root of that, it helps you make the right decision whether to invite somebody into your program.
Coach, we really appreciate your time, and thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Once again, that is Ryan Odom, head coach of Virginia. And, it's fair to say, because everyone does it, that if something's working for somebody else, you should absolutely see if there's something you can't copy or emulate. Or I'll use I think it was Tony Bennett who told Michael Bublé. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
This is a reference right here. Tony Bennett, the legendary singer, told Michael Bublé, because Bublé went up to him, another singer, and said, like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know, like, I steal all your stuff. Like, I do your bit, I do this, I do that. I just want to let you know." And Tony Bennett told him, "If you steal from one person, it's stealing. If you steal from everybody, it's research." And that was like his smooth as heck Tony Bennett line. But that's how I look at it, sports as well, right? Like if you try to just do someone else's shtick, if you try to just imitate someone else, that's kind of messed up. But if you're taking over a program for the first time, right? You're a first-year head coach at a new school, like Justin Gainey is at NC State, and you can look around and go, well, Virginia was under 500 last year, and Ryan Odom showed up and did, X, Y, and Z, and suddenly they were the second-best team in the ACC. Perhaps I should consider doing one or two out of X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So Ryan Odom just talked about it, right? He took over with the transfer portal. He had to completely flip his roster. Look at the guys he went to choose, right? He didn't necessarily go choose the flashiest, highest-ranked transfers, the most expensive. He dipped into Europe, right? Found some guys that have been playing professional for a while. And, like DeRitter, I think, is a great example. A 23-year-old freshman, we all joke about it. But do you know what else he is? He's a 23-year-old body. The dude is hefty. And I'm not saying that negatively. I'm saying like he's a load. He's difficult to handle. He's not going to get pushed around by some 19-year-old from Boston College. So perhaps, going to Europe, finding some guys that have been playing pro for a while that still have eligibility is something you might consider. You don't have to do it, but you should definitely consider it.
Well, a school that did that's playing in the Final Four, Illinois.
Yeah.
Like, Illinois very much did that.
We talked with Kevin Krueger earlier today, one of the assistants for Illinois, and a question that I didn't have time to get to, I had written it down in my notes, was Krueger had played he played overseas in a bunch of different leagues, right? During his playing career, a bunch of leagues that I couldn't pronounce, so I assume they're somewhere overseas. And I was going to ask him, does that really help you coaching this particular Illinois team? Because there's a guy from Puerto Rico, a couple from Montenegro, a couple from Serbia, I think. They have a very eclectic group. It's one way to build a roster, right? It's one way to build a roster, and it's worked a few times, so you should look at it. And whatever Ryan Odom did from the moment he took over UVA to whenever they were ready to play when the season started is something that first-year ACC coaches should be looking at. And that's same thing with what Jay Lucas did at Miami, right? That was a big turnaround. And check it out. Look at it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, over-hyping. It's not glazing, as the kids say, or anything like that. It's research, as Tony Bennett would say.
I wonder if we're going to see that trend even further of the international players coming over. I'm like, because again, you get someone that's played against grown men that is more physically mature than the 18-year-old that's coming. I mean, obviously still go get the 18-year-old stud, but if I can get the 22, 23-year-old that has a couple years of eligibility as well, I'm like, why wouldn't I?
It is the only argument that's any good for like Alabama tried to get guys that had signed like NBA contracts to be eligible, which is ridiculous, and we make fun of it. But the only good argument for it is, well, okay, they played professionally against grown men in the G League mostly. How is that any different from somebody that played in like Euro League or the top Italian league, since they were 16 years old and now they're 23 and they're coming over? Like, how is this any different? I hear that. But as long as the NCAA looks at it as different, it's a loophole almost. You can go get like a professional 23-year-old to play college basketball, and you might even get them for 2 or 3 years of eligibility. So I'm just saying, whatever Ryan Odom did, you're not any less of a coach if you look at it and say, well, what can we do that he did? Mm-hmm. What can we steal from that guy? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are taking you live all the way up to 6:30 today. We'll do it right here from Radio Row in Indianapolis. So before we pass things off to Adam Gold for Stormwatch ahead of the Canes game tonight, we'll give you another half hour of interviews and insight from coaches and newsmakers here in Indianapolis. Stick around.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Columbus.
Miller's coming in shorthanded. Miller back in, he scores!
Stormwatch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Nikishin got that bomb and he scores! Game over! Alexander Nikishin's first overtime game winner!
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier Factory Authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 28 500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Wake Orthopedics Urgent Care, we spend days, nights, and weekends in 3 convenient locations providing specialized care for kids and adults. Sprains and strains, shoulders and knees, fractures, hammies, and more. All that and all without an appointment. Walk in or limp in, either way you'll get the care you need whenever you need it. Visit us today at wakemed.org.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm attorney Brian Richie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at richielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Maybe taking over Overdrive with a little overtime of The Drive. We're doing it live from Indianapolis. By the way, our coverage here in Indianapolis at Radio Row for the Final Four is thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. It's been a really fun day. We've talked with a ton of coaches, specifically in the college basketball world, about the future of the sport, the portal that's about to open, the Carolina job that's still open, and we also caught up with Bob Richey of Furman, which I have to this is how the conversation starts, but I can tell you that the conversation that extended, into goodbyes, right, where we turn off the mics and we're chatting before he goes to his next booth.
Yeah.
Richie is impressed with NC State fans' ability to track private jets.
Yes. Very much so.
He was unaware of the phenomenon that is NC State fans tracking jets across the country for coaching searches. He is now very aware, and I know State fans are proud of that, and they are unbelievable at it, and they showed their ability on, last Saturday? Feels like it was much longer ago than that, but last Saturday. So if you want insight into Bob Richey, head coach of Furman, why there was a private jet that had landed in South Carolina near Furman's campus when they were interviewing, I can pass along that information to you because we spoke with Bob Richey earlier today, and we had that conversation. Here it is. We continue here at Radio Row for the Final Four in Indianapolis. The Drive in Indianapolis is thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House. Call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Next up, joining us here at our booth is Bob Richey, the head coach of Furman. Coach, I'm not sure if you're aware. Do you know NC State fans' history with tracking jets and tail numbers and where planes land and how long they stay there?
I was not aware until Saturday night.
Okay, then you know what my question is. There was a jet that spent some time in South Carolina, just off of Furman's campus. What was that jet doing there?
Well, first of all, really happy for Justin. Justin's somebody that I know and have watched his career develop. It's even from the time he was at App State as an assistant, when I was an assistant at Furman, and you're always excited in this business when you see somebody get a job that's worked really hard to get it, and he played there, and the pride of that. So first of all, really happy for him. But I did get a chance to visit with Boo and his team, and I thought it was an unbelievable opportunity potentially, and it's part of the business. Sometimes you don't quite get the opportunity, but to be able to be a part of the process and hear about what NC State's trying to do and their commitment to basketball and their commitment to athletics and the vision of what they're trying to do there was very exciting.
What was that vision that they were passing along to you?
Well, I mean, just it's NC State. I mean, it's Valvano, it's national championships. It's ACC, it's Tobacco Road. It's and for us, I've got an unbelievable job. I've got we live in Greenville, South Carolina. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and I work at a top 50 liberal arts school in the country. We just spent $40 million on our arena. We just won the league for the second time in 4 years, and we've been in the championship game for the last 5 years. And we're pretty committed to Furman and being able to have our program. And we're very selective in the schools that we talk to, but that one was very, from an academic university standpoint, I thought it really aligned with my personal values, and being in the ACC and being a school that was clearly top third in resources there. It was something that was appealing, and like I said, we love where we are, and we're only going to leave for something that's a no-brainer. And it was you could tell they want to continue the momentum. They want to continue. You look at fan attendance this year. You look at people having a focus on the program from a national spotlight. Like, it was a little bit of an awakening in some for lack of better terms, and I think they're looking to continue that. And it's potentially a really exciting time to be a part of NC State basketball.
We're talking with Bob Richie, Furman head men's basketball coach. You brought up like basketball as a business. What are the conversations like with your players right now that they have options, right? We're seeing guys like Alex Wilkins kind of building their value, and the portal appears to be in his future. If you're having conversations and now you're going to them and having conversations, like, how does that all happen? Because we brought it up. The tail numbers being tracked is a relatively new phenomenon, right? 20 years ago, you talk to a team, it doesn't end up working out. Maybe nobody hears about it, but now it spreads so quickly, and I'm sure your players have questions.
I think it's all based on transparency, and our players know the jobs that we've turned down. I mean, even the cycle, of just jobs we have listened to but have chosen for various reasons not to do. And I'm very forthright with our team about that. And, we've proven over the 9 years that we've been in Furman our loyalty to Furman, and continue to try to, what I've always said, my 9 years at Furman, we want to make this our next job. And everything that we're doing is to try to make it our next job. And, the build that we've been able to put together at Furman has been tremendous, and that's where our attention is. But look, it's just like me having conversation with players that we could resource them at a certain level. They can potentially go and get resources at a 5-6x level. And so then it comes down to, we don't want money to be the only factor, but it is a factor. And, I think it was any musicians. Green Day had the line in one of their, it wasn't Green Day, it was Silverchair, actually, the Australian band. Money and everything, but I like to see you live without it. We don't want money to be the deciding factor, but it is a factor, especially when gaps get pretty wide. From there, you've got to look at it and say, okay, as a player, does this help me professionally? Does this help me continue to develop? Does this help me continue to grow? If the answer is yes, then this could be something that you look at. If the answer is no, then it might be worth you staying here. And you're just constantly trying to assess value. And so for us, look, I've had one-on-one conversations with players about their opportunities, about what's going on in my life. I went back 3 years ago when we were trying to get Slauson and Bothwell back, and we talked through all of it as it was going on. They knew it was going on with me. I knew it was going on with them, and we all made a decision to come back together, and then we ended up, winning the league and beating Virginia that year. But it's just transparency, and I know we're losing it quickly, but I still think, there's anybody that doesn't think there's a lot of money in this kind of has their head in the sand, and you've got to be able to evaluate things quickly and well and in a transparent fashion.
Is there a correct amount or a correct way to use the transfer portal as far as, all new guys or certain positions that you want to target? Like, is there a roadmap to the portal, I guess?
I think the one thing that you're seeing is clear is you better know your identity once you're getting in this, because if you don't know, it's so many names and the process goes so fast that if you're just trying to make it a talent acquisition phenomenon, you're going to get yourself in a little bit of a mess. You better know what you're looking at, and you better have a good feel for what you're evaluating and then the things that you feel like are important to your program, because you need to have some built-in filters. If you don't have filters and you're just scanning this thing, I mean, there's going to be over 2,000 in this thing, and if you're just in there looking for the best player, and you can see some situations this year without naming any teams where a lot of good players got together and got paid a lot of money and it just didn't work out. It didn't yield quite the result that everybody thought it was going to, and you probably had a lot of personalities thinking that, hey, I'm gonna be in the pilot seat. I'm not gonna be in the co-pilot seat, or I'm not gonna be.
And it turns out they're in the back seat.
They're in the back seat, and they're not gonna deal with that. And then all of a sudden you've got locker room situations going on, and I think those are the things, right? Like I've said this a lot. It's gonna be same as ever in this. What I mean by that, the circumstances of winning are changing. The character of winning never changes. And when we all look back on this, the character of winning is still going to be the same. Can you get people to buy into the team? Can you get people to want to be part of something bigger than themselves that lasts longer than them? Can you get people to understand there's one ball out there and get it to fit together, and not just think that, hey, how much money do I have and how much money can I throw at these guys and how much talent do we acquire? You still better be able to build team, and I think that's going to be the separator in this.
Same as it ever was. Coach,
same as ever.
We appreciate you.
Hey.
Once again, that's Bob Richey, the Furman head men's basketball coach, who he revealed that private jet that stopped in South Carolina about a week ago was there to talk to him about the NC State job. And while it didn't end up happening, you could tell there's real reverence from Coach Richey to the NC State head coaching seat.
You could tell if he was offered it, he would have said yes.
Felt like it.
Oh, absolutely.
Certainly felt like it.
Absolutely.
And by the way, he did go out of his way to also compliment Justin Gainey for earning that opportunity, and it wasn't like bitter in that way. It did feel like he was somebody that recognized what an opportunity NC State is, and yeah. I think I hate using this term, but real basketball fans do, real ball knowers, as they say it. Like, you understand what kind of an opportunity that is.
Yeah, he said, it's NC State. Yeah, like Valvano, the history. So he understood the magnitude and what's expected of that job in that position. He understood that, and I think that's an important thing to know. At least for NC State understands that they're standing, but also people in the basketball world understand the standing of NC State basketball, and I think State fans want to get back to that, obviously, on a consistent basis.
And, what ifs are just that, right? They're hypotheticals. But I do wonder how this coaching search might have gone for State if it wasn't fresh off of what just happened with Will Wade.
Yeah.
Right. The three that the private jet stopped at were Schertz at St. Louis, Justin Gainey as an assistant at Tennessee, and Richie at Furman. And it feels like out of those three, knowing what Will Wade just did, Justin Gainey had a huge leg up because of he played at State. He had already been a staffer at State. He's from North Carolina. He's from Greensboro, loves it here. And part of this search was very simply they wanted to find somebody that was the complete opposite of Will Wade, and Will Wade didn't have any connections. If it weren't that prominent of a part, I wonder if maybe – it was very obvious Richie was trying to put his best foot forward, right? If maybe it would have been a different outcome. We'll never know, right? That's the what if and hypothetical of it all. But, Justin Gainey, I think his leg up was a lot of, it's kind of crazy to think of, but it's a decision that he probably made when he was 17 years old, right? He was a recruit, and he chose to went to NC State when he was a, junior or senior in high school, and now he's 49, and he got an opportunity because of that decision. And remember, transfer portal wasn't really a thing back there.
No.
Right? Maybe after his sophomore year he thought about leaving, but he didn't want to sit out a year, right? And I'm just making stuff up. I'm just saying it's funny how, I always call them sliding doors moments, right? Like one decision snowballs and snowballs and snowballs, and now he's the head coach of NC State. Right? It's a funny thing the way that works.
Yeah.
And again, State fans, you were ahead of it because you track. I don't know. I think that's so.
I think it's awesome.
Awesomely funny.
I think it's
like
awesome.
I can't help but chuckle every time it happens, but I also very much respect it. Like it's just a cool bit, and people don't understand it until they truly follow it. And I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. I think State fans should, for some compensation, rent out their services to where if Texas has a football head coaching opening or Ohio State has a basketball head coaching opening, their fans can Venmo State fans to just be on top of it with the private jet tracking.
Yes.
Just be tell us where the interviews are taking place, and for a small fee. I think you're that good at it. I think there's an ability there, and I'm only 40% joking on that. There's some truth there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, from here live in Indianapolis at Radio Row for the Final Four will continue. Dennis, do we know who we're airing up next?
It's just you and I.
Beautiful. We're talking a little hockey, too.
Yeah, we
as
are.
well.
We got Canes coming up. We're leading right up to Adam Gold's Stormwatch, baby. Let's go.
We have to scratch some itches when it comes to first goal scorer predictions and everything else. So stick around. The Drive next.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejected. Cameron Boozer got a piece. Get that out of there.
The deep looks from downtown.
McNeil flops up a three and connects left corner.
Did he just do that?
McNeil fires a three. Got it far corner. Falling down. It's a 2-point game.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9 The Fan. Driven by Fast Park and Relax, Chapel Hill Tire and Roof Works.
On the Wolfpack Sports Network from Learfield, this is Wolfpack Sports Today, your daily look inside NC State athletics. And now, here's Wolfpack Sports Today.
I'm Matt Chasnow. Pac men's basketball welcomes its new coach. Wolfpack Sports Today's next.
Hello, I'm Dr. Hadley Calloway from Raleigh Orthopedic Clinic. Many of my patients have shoulder pain, usually from rotator cuff tendonitis. That hurts in the shoulder, but also up to the neck and down to the elbow. It hurts to put a coat on, to tuck their shirt in, to reach behind their back. It hurts a lot at night. The treatments usually involve a cortisone shot, physical therapy, maybe some medication. If it doesn't get better, I get an MRI test, and there's an arthroscopic surgery that can get you back to normal before you know it.
Thanks, Dr. Calloway. Use the same doctors as the NC State Wolfpack. For more information, visit RaleighOrtho.com.
NC State men's hoops new leaders Justin Gainey, the former Pac point guard from the late 1990s.
This is a special place with a proud tradition, and I don't take any of this lightly. I don't take any of these responsibilities lightly. I know what comes with it. I was born here in North Carolina, played here at NC State. I understand what being on Tobacco Road is all about. I understand it. And Boo said it great in his last presser. You gotta have a certain type of toughness to be here. And if you look at my career, my path, I was never the tallest guy. I was never the fastest. I wouldn't say I always shot the ball the best. But the one thing that I prided myself on was toughness. And I tried to bring that every day. And
Gainey speaks in front of a packed room in the club on the upper concourse level of the arena. Most recently, Gainey was an assistant under Rick Barnes at Tennessee. Wolfpack Sports Today continues next.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of NC State Athletics.
NC State men's hoops head coach Justin Gainey on stage with McMurray Family Director of Athletics Boo Corrigan and University Chancellor Kevin Howell.
You've been listening to Wolfpack Sports Today, your daily look inside NC State athletics. Wolfpack Sports Today is a Learfield presentation of the Wolfpack Sports Network.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's Bo time.
There's Bo time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are live from Indianapolis, Radio Row for the Final Four. The Drive in Indianapolis is all thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Dennis, we don't have a ton of time here, but we do have a Carolina Hurricanes game tonight.
Yeah, we do.
They are hosting Columbus. 7 o'clock puck drop, which means 6:30 Storm Watch, which is who we're passing the baton to right after this. We're going to give it to Adam Gold, and he's going to get you set for the game. But we do need to lock in. We won't be able to take callers, but we do need to lock in our first goal scorer predictions from our 99.9 The Fan personalities. And I'll actually give a shout-out to, didn't even really solicit them on social media, but Dan on social media did go first goal tonight. Jarvie from Aho on a 2-on-1 breakaway, first period. Here's why I give him the shout-out. Aho's assist would cash his pre-flop over of 75.5 season points for Aho.
All right.
That's what he said.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Well done.
So let's go ahead and jump on first goal scorer predictions for today. Adam, who we're going to be passing the airwaves off to, has – this is actually crazy, and it happens more often than you think.
Okay.
Taylor Hall in the first
All
on
right.
a delayed penalty.
Oh, okay.
The reason why it's crazy is because – usually I walk around and just grab first goal scorer predictions from everyone in the office. But when I'm on location, I have to text people. And so they're very much like sequestered. They don't go off of each other's prediction. Max Gorin, who's back at the studio keeping us up and running right now, Taylor Hall in the first.
Oh, okay.
That's not like a right down the middle one. And they those two specifically go on the same name quite often, Adam and Max.
That line with Hall, Stankoven, and Blank is still creating chances. They haven't been scoring a much 5-on-5, but they're creating chances still.
Taylor Hall, by the way, Max added on an odd man rush.
Oh, okay, there you
go. Victoria, the producer of the Adam Gold Show. Jarvis in the first 10 minutes. That's kind of her bread and butter. Paul Ihander, the host of Next Up with Paul Ihander. Aho in the first, which is also mine. I'm Aho in the first until it's right.
Yeah.
It's been right since I've started doing this, but not on a show day. It's only happened on weekends. So hopefully today I can get off the schneid. Aho in the first. Something slick. That's what I'm looking for. Something that makes you go, that's a good move. It doesn't have to be too crazy, but that's my additional detail. Dennis, who are you rolling with?
I mean, this is easy. Fetch on the power play in the first. I mean, come on. Power play, that's an easy call, people. Let's go here. They have more power play goals in the last 7 games than they do have 5-on-5 goals. Give me power play. Fetch, first period.
7 straight games with a power play goal? Is that what we're up
to now? 11 of them.
11 goals in. Well, yeah, they've had
11 power play goals in the last 7.
Which is insane. They are up to tied for 4th. I actually sold them short yesterday when I said 5th.
Oh.
They're in a tie for 4th in power play percentage. They were just the second team of the tied for 4ths listed, so I just counted to 5. They are tied for 4th.
Since January 1st, since the turn of the calendar year, they have the best power play in the NHL.
Luckily, I'm not superstitious, or else I'd be worried about just jinxing the heck out of it.
Yeah.
But yesterday I did say, or two days ago, I talked about how awesome the power play has been, and then they went 3 for 5. So
see,
as big as my ego is, apparently I don't control how good the Canes power play is by what I say on the radio.
No broadcast jinx?
I don't believe in it. I'm not saying it doesn't appear to happen occasionally, but I don't believe in it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, has had a great day here at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
We're doing it all over again tomorrow from Radio Row here at the Final Four. We're having a special tournament tailgate edition of the show from 10 to noon, 10 a.m. to noon tomorrow, then our traditional 3 to 6. So basically, keep it tuned right here to 99.9 The Fan for Adam Gold and Stormwatch next, the Canes game after that, and then tomorrow morning with Paul Ihander at 9, us at 10, Adam at noon, then us at 3. It's nonstop local programming here on 99.9 The Fan, which I very much appreciate. With that being said, thank you to Max for keeping us up and running back at studio. Good job today. Thank you to Dennis on this end, and thank you to all of you for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly. And me, Dennis Cox. And 99.9 The Fan is live in Indianapolis.
We're in the center of the action, the site of college basketball's national championship.
We'll bring you all the news, insight, and interviews